Chapter 2502. During these 3 days, Duan Lingtian had thought about everything that he should and should not think about. The fact that Kerr was forced to leave, and his family and friends were taken away, was undoubtedly a huge blow to Duan Lingtian. However, he knew that no matter how pained and sorrowful he felt, it was useless when faced with such a situation. The only thing he could do was to calm himself down and raise his strength as soon as possible, so that he could head to the divine offering land that Kerr had mentioned. He wanted to rescue his family and friends from Yin Qing Yen and bring Kerr away from the divine offering land. Kerr, I won't let you wait too long, Duan Lingtian muttered to himself as he looked up at the sky. After a while, Duan Lingtian regained his senses. He rose into the air and left the lower province of the Dao Martial Saint Land as though nothing had happened. He returned to the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. Naturally, Duan Lingtian only acted as though nothing had happened. In his heart, he still felt very uncomfortable. Zhang Yi, Yin Qing Yen did not imprison Zhang Yi and bring him away. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by this. After all, Yin Qing Yen did not imprison anyone from the Azure Cloud Mansion. It was clear Yin Qing Yen was selective in who he imprisoned. Most of them were people who were close to him. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, was someone who had followed him from the Beyond Heaven secret zone to the Saint Province realm. He did not leave any traces behind in the Saint Province realm. For this reason, it was not strange that Yin Qing Yen did not imprison him. At a nameless snow-capped peak in the northern region, this was also the temporary estate of the Seven Absolute sect. Zhang Yi. When Duan Lingtian returned, he saw the figure standing on the stone platform halfway up the mountain. In just a blink of an eye, he appeared next to the figure. Duan Lingtian? When Zhang Yi heard Duan Lingtian's voice and saw Duan Lingtian, he finally snapped out of his daze and said anxiously, Duan Lingtian, they were taken away by force. That person is very strong. It feels like he's not any weaker than a 9 bodiless celestial. Zhang Yi could not help but feel terrified when he recalled the green-robed young man he had met a few days ago. The scenes at that time were still vivid in his mind. He felt like an ant before the green-clad young man. The other party didn't even specifically target him. Just the residual power of the energy released from his body was enough to suppress the energy in his body, turning it into a pool of stagnant water, unable to cause any more ripples. Yes, I know. Duan Lingtian naturally knew who Zhang Yi was referring to. His eyes widened slightly as he nodded. Then, without waiting for Zhang Yi's reply, Duan Lingtian said, Let's return to the Beyond Heaven secret zone. We'll head to Yinhuang realm. Then they. Zhang Yi was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He could not understand Duan Lingtian's reaction. After all, even Duan Lingtian's daughter had been taken away. However, based on Duan Lingtian's reaction, it seemed as though he did not understand what Zhang Yi had just said. However, Duan Lingtian had clearly said that he knew. Duan Lingtian, your daughter and Miss Tianwu were also taken away by force. Zhang Yi could not help but add, I know. Duan Lingtian nodded again before he continued to say, Let's go to the Beyond Heaven secret zone. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, he did not wait for Zhang Yi's reply before he raised his hand and brought Zhang Yi to the entrance of the Beyond Heaven secret zone in the northern region of the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land in the Saint Province realm. Duan Lingtian, Zhang Yi muttered under his breath. Along the way, Zhang Yi discovered that something was amiss. He wanted to ask something, but when he saw Duan Lingtian's emotionless eyes, he obediently shut his mouth. He could not see any anger in Duan Lingtian's eyes. It was as though Duan Lingtian had lost his soul. Even if Duan Lingtian did not say anything, Zhang Yi knew something must have happened. When he saw Duan Lingtian did not want to talk about it, he obediently stopped asking. We're here. Soon after, Duan Lingtian brought Zhang Yi to the entrance of the Beyond Heaven secret zone. It was the icy valley in the northern region of the upper province of the Dao Martial Saint Land. In the snow-covered mountain valley, a few wooden houses were still standing there. They looked exactly the same as when Duan Lingtian had left them. It was obvious that no one had come here since they left last time. Let's go in. Duan Lingtian's eyes brightened when he saw the black hole hovering in front of him. He put Zhang Yi down and prepared to enter the Beyond Heaven secret zone in just a flash. Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Zhang Yi called out to Duan Lingtian. Upon hearing Zhang Yi's call, Duan Lingtian immediately regained his senses. He looked at Zhang Yi with a puzzled expression on his face. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Duan Lingtian did not know why Zhang Yi called out to him. After entering the Beyond Heaven secret zone, we usually won't appear in the same place. Zhang Yi said, therefore, we have to meet somewhere, right? He was not worried about whether Duan Lingtian would be able to find the way to Yanhuang realm. With Duan Lingtian's strength, he could easily find someone from the Yanhuang realm to lead him to the exit of the Beyond Heaven secret zone and head to Yanhuang realm. I forgot about that. Duan Lingtian nodded. In that case, we'll meet at the exit of the Beyond Heaven secret zone. No matter who arrives first, we'll wait for the other person nearby. What do you think? Sure. Zhang Yi nodded. Whoosh. As soon as Zhang Yi finished speaking, Duan Lingtian disappeared from his spot in a flash. It was as though he had never appeared in the ice valley that was shrouded in fog. When Duan Lingtian disappeared from his spot, Zhang Yi could clearly see the black hole in the Beyond Heaven secret zone. The black hole hovering in the air, which was the entrance to the Beyond Heaven secret zone from the Saint Province realm, suddenly shook for a moment before ripples spread out from it. It was as though a stone had been thrown into a calm lake, causing ripples to form on the surface of the lake. Zhang Yi knew this meant Duan Lingtian had already entered the Beyond Heaven secret zone. Why are you in such a hurry? Although Zhang Yi did not understand why Duan Lingtian was in such a hurry, he still followed Duan Lingtian through the black hole and entered the Beyond Heaven secret zone. In fact, Duan Lingtian was in such a hurry because he did not know when he would ascend to a Devata realm. Although he wanted to ascend to a Devata realm, he could not find a way to raise his strength in the Saint Province realm. However, it was not up to him to decide whether he would ascend to a Devata realm or not. He could only wait for the appearance of the Celestial Ascension Force. After all, he would only be able to ascend to the Devata realm and become a Celestial when the Celestial Ascension Force appeared. However, he did not want to waste his time waiting for the Celestial Ascension Force to ascend to a Devata realm. Due to Yin Qingyan's actions, Duan Lingtian was eager to raise his strength. He did not want to waste even a second. I can't find a way to raise my strength in the Saint Province realm. However, in a large mundane realm like the Yanhuang realm, I might be able to find a way to improve my strength. With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian decided to head to Yanhuang realm as soon as possible. Apart from finding a way to raise his strength before he ascended to a Devata realm, he could also find a way to return to Earth in Yanhuang realm. If it were not for Earth, Duan Lingtian would not have only set his sights on Yanhuang realm. After all, apart from the people from Yanhuang realm, there were also people from 3 large mundane realms in the Beyond Heaven secret zone. The 3 large mundane realms were no smaller than the Yanhuang realm. They must have something that Yanhuang realm had as well. Duan Lingtian had chosen Yanhuang realm because of Earth. After all, it was Duan Lingtian's hometown. The powerhouses from the devil clans who invaded the Saint Province realm, including the 9 tribulation bodiless celestial from the devil clans, must be afraid of Kerr for killing the patriarch of the dragons, who was a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. They must be afraid of Kerr. Under such circumstances, even if they don't leave the Saint Province realm and return to the land of exile, they won't dare to act recklessly. Unless they're certain that Kerr has left the Saint Province realm, they won't dare to act recklessly in the Saint Province realm. Duan Lingtian had thought of this before he left the Saint Province realm. After all, the Saint Province realm was his hometown in this life. If possible, he did not want the Saint Province realm to be plunged into misery and suffering because of the devil clans. Duan Lingtian did not make a move to expel the devil clans because he knew there were 9 tribulation bodiless celestials among the devil clans who were not weaker than him. With Kerr's current strength, he was not strong enough to force the devil clans to retreat. In fact, it was just as Duan Lingtian had expected. After the powerhouses from the devil clans confirmed what had happened in the dragon's residence, they ordered their subordinates to behave themselves and stop killing the humans in the Saint Province realm. Peace was restored in the Saint Province realm. The humans and the devil clans coexisted peacefully overnight. However, this was only the calm before the storm. If the powerhouses from the devil clans could confirm that the human powerhouse who could threaten them was no longer in the Saint Province realm, they would not hesitate. Chapter 2503. The Beyond Heaven Secret Zone. When Duan Ling Tian entered the Beyond Heaven Secret Zone again, he was no longer in the mood to hunt for celestial supreme treasures. He was no longer in the mood to search for treasures. Along the way, he began to look for people from the Yanhuang realm. Although Duan Ling Tian had entered the Beyond Heaven Secret Zone, since he was separated from Zhang Yi, there was no one to guide him to the entrance of the Beyond Heaven Secret Zone to Yanhuang realm. For this reason, he could only find someone from Yanhuang realm to lead the way. After all, he was not from Yanhuang realm, so he could not sense the location of the exit that led to Yanhuang realm. Someone from Skyline realm, people from Vast Cloud Plain, someone from Muro realm. In about half a month, Duan Ling Tian had met people from the other 3 large mundane realms. However, he did not meet anyone from Yanhuang realm. For a moment he couldn't help but feel anxious. It has already been half a month. I'm sure Zhang Yi should have arrived at the entrance of the Beyond Heaven Secret Zone to Yanhuang realm by now, right? Duan Ling Tian thought to himself. Since Zhang Yi was from Yanhuang realm, as soon as he entered the Beyond Heaven Secret Zone, he would be able to locate the exit that led to Yanhuang realm and make his way to that place. For this reason, as long as Zhang Yi was close to the exit, he would definitely be there by now. Whoosh! With this thought in mind, Duan Ling Tian became even more anxious. He began to search for people. There seems to be someone over there. I should go and see if there's anyone from Yanhuang realm there. With this thought in mind, Duan Ling Tian made his way to the valley where the commotion was coming from and entered it. As he entered the valley, the voices that entered Duan Ling Tian's ears grew louder and louder. At this moment, there was a group of people surrounding a person in the valley. The person who was surrounded was a woman who was completely covered in black. No matter if it was her body or her face, everything was covered in black. She looked very much like the assassins from the ancient dramas in Duan Ling Tian's previous life. The reason why he could tell that she was a woman was because of the black clothes she was wearing, which showed the outline of her figure. Although this black outfit wasn't considered tight, the woman's figure was too good, so it still showed her silhouette. There was nothing better than a devilish figure. Hand over the celestial supreme treasure, or die. Someone from the group of people that surrounded the woman quickly shouted out. His voice was filled with killing intent, as if he would directly attack and kill the black-clothed woman at the slightest disagreement. Take off the black cloth on your face. As long as you look good and give me the immortal supreme treasure, I don't mind taking you in as a concubine. A sloppy-looking young man looked at the black-clothed woman and said, When we came in, didn't we agree? Everything in this heaven-ranked treasure vault is to be obtained by one's own ability? Why are you going back on your word now that I've obtained the immortal supreme treasure? The black-clothed woman asked in a deep voice as she stared at the group of people surrounding her coldly. Although her voice was slightly gloomy, it was still very pleasant to the ears. Humph! Upon hearing the woman's response, some of the people around her had a change of expression, as though they were in the wrong. However, there were even more people who snorted coldly and stared at her coldly, who did not want a celestial supreme treasure. Perhaps before the celestial supreme treasure appeared, the group of people could have a discussion. In this heaven-ranked treasure vault, everything would belong to whoever had the ability to obtain it. However, if the celestial supreme treasure was really obtained by someone, the others would definitely be unwilling to accept it. Under such circumstances, verbal promises were undoubtedly weak and powerless. She seems to be very confident. Although Duan Ling Tian had just arrived, he could clearly feel that the black-clothed woman was very calm. This woman, who was completely shrouded in black, did not seem to show any fear or anxiety, even though she was surrounded by a group of people. She was still able to maintain her composure. In Duan Lingtian's opinion, this was a sign of confidence. Duan Lingtian's arrival naturally attracted the attention of everyone, including the black-clothed woman. However, after they glanced at Duan Lingtian, they quickly retracted their gazes. The group of people surrounding the black-clothed woman continued to stare at her. Meanwhile, the black-clothed woman continued to stare coldly at the people who were surrounding her. Everyone, just as the atmosphere between the black-clothed woman and the group of people surrounding her was about to explode, Duan Lingtian spoke in a timely manner. Among all of you, is there anyone from Yinhuang realm? Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the group of people present on the scene looked at Duan Lingtian again before they withdrew their gazes. Nobody paid any attention to Duan Lingtian. In their opinion, Duan Lingtian was someone who had just entered the heaven-ranked treasure vault. Moreover, he was not even 100 years old like them. He was at most an eminent celestial. They could not be bothered with such a person, since he was not a threat to them at all. Perhaps, most of them were not eminent celestials, but there were still 3 eminent celestials among them. Even if a mere eminent celestial was angry at them for ignoring him, could he really do anything to them? Duan Lingtian was not surprised by the group of people ignoring him. However, when he asked the question earlier, he had been observing the expressions of the group of people in front of him. In the end, he was certain one of them was from Yinhuang realm. After all, one's eyes could not lie. Kill her! Kill her! Take the celestial supreme treasure from her. While Duan Lingtian was looking at the person from Yinhuang realm again, the group of people in front of him had already begun to attack the black-clad woman. 5-colored energy surged out and formed a net that shrouded the black-clad woman. For a time, the black-clad woman was like a trapped beast that was firmly trapped. Humph! Just as the surrounding people made their moves, the black-clothed woman's exposed eyes suddenly surged with waves of coldness. With a raise of her hand, a dagger appeared in her hand. As soon as the dagger appeared, Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. With just a glance, he could tell the dagger was a celestial supreme treasure. The dagger was a celestial supreme treasure. Whoosh! 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 Under Duan Lingtian's gaze, the black-clad woman who seemed to have become a trapped beast waved her hand that was holding the dagger, and it seemed as if she had the help of the gods. She easily blocked the waves of vast energy that enveloped her. Strands of powerful aura rose from the woman in black and spread out. Oh no! As soon as the black-clad woman's aura surged out, the expressions of the 3 eminent celestials changed drastically when they sensed the danger they were in. As eminent celestials, their senses were much sharper than the others. After sensing the crisis, they also realized one thing. The black-clad woman might be an eminent celestial like them, but she was definitely stronger than a 3-tribulation bodiless celestial. After obtaining the celestial supreme treasure, her strength has risen to such a level. In other words, before obtaining the celestial supreme treasure, her strength is already comparable to a 3-tribulation bodiless celestial? Among the 3 eminent celestials who were attacking the black-clad woman, 2 of them had strength comparable to a 3-tribulation bodiless celestial. However, they could not help but tremble in fear when they saw the black-clad woman's strength. At the same time, they began to think about retreating. During this time, the 2 eminent celestials whose strength was comparable to a 3-tribulation bodiless celestial looked at the black-clad woman with a hint of jealousy and fear in their eyes. If both of them had celestial supreme treasures as well, their strength would not be any weaker than the black-clad woman. She's hiding her strength. At this moment, Duan Lingtian, who was watching from afar, raised an eyebrow, as though he had sensed something. As soon as Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow, boom! An even more powerful aura erupted from the black-clad woman, who was being attacked by the group of eminent celestials. At the same time, the dagger in her hand moved even faster as it left streaks of light in the air. When these sharp lights passed by each other, it was as if they had the help of the gods, and they easily defeated the vast and mighty multicolored power. Boom! 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 A series of explosions rang in the air, stirring up a strong wind. After the black-clad woman's strength had increased, she had completely destroyed the group of people who were attacking her. The group of people's attacks were completely destroyed by the dagger in her hand. This is bad. We've underestimated her. Her strength is comparable to a 5 tribulation bodiless celestial at least. When the black-clad woman defeated the group of people, the 2 eminent celestials whose strength was comparable to a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial were horrified. This was because they did not expect the black-clad woman to be so powerful. The black-clad woman before them had concealed her strength so well. If they had known the black-clad woman's strength was comparable to a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial, before she obtained the celestial supreme treasure, they would not have dared to covet the celestial supreme treasure. Run! When the 3 eminent celestials discovered the black-clad woman's strength, they immediately turned and fled. However, would they be able to escape? In just a blink of an eye, the black-clad woman had killed the 3 eminent celestials and the group of people who were attacking her before they could even react. At this moment, only the black-clad woman and Duan Lingtian were left in the valley. You're from Yinhuang realm? Chapter 2504. You want my celestial supreme treasure as well? The black-clad woman whose entire body was shrouded in black, revealing only her eyes and beautiful hair that cascaded like a waterfall. She looked at Duan Lingtian with a vigilant gaze as she asked coldly, Duan Lingtian, who was already anxious because he could not find anyone from Yinhuang realm, became impatient when he saw the black-clad woman did not answer his question. He said in a deep voice, If I want your celestial supreme treasure, why would I wait until now? As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, a wave of majestic energy surged out of his body. It was like a ball of flames that emitted a terrifying aura. At the same time, streaks of sword light rapidly condensed and took shape around his body. Then, they continuously revolved around him. At first, there were only a few sword rays. However, as time passed, more and more sword rays appeared. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A series of ear-piercing sword cries resonated in the air. The tens of thousands of sword rays around Duan Lingtian whistled and gathered in the air above his head. They combined in a very mysterious way. It was a sword formation. As soon as the sword formation appeared, it emitted a mysterious aura that spread out from the top of Duan Lingtian's head like ripples. It swept across a large area, not leaving a single corner untouched. When the mysterious aura enveloped the woman in black, her expression changed with a swoosh. Of course, because her face was blocked, it was impossible to see it at all. However, from the shock in her eyes, one could clearly see that she was not calm at all. Whoosh! Under the horrified gaze of the black-clad woman, the dagger in her hand actually injured her hand before it flew out swiftly, as though it was being summoned by something. It flashed toward the sword formation that hovered above Duan Lingtian and became a part of the sword formation. You! Just as the black-clad woman was looking at Duan Lingtian in shock, Duan Lingtian's expression changed. With just a thought in Duan Lingtian's mind, the dagger that was attracted by the sword formation earlier was now in his hand. He allowed him to hold and examine it. Now, do you still think I want the immortal supreme treasure in your hands? Duan Lingtian asked as he looked at the black-clothed woman with an indifferent gaze. You're Duan Lingtian. However, the black-clad woman did not respond to Duan Lingtian's question. Instead, she exclaimed in shock. At this moment, the horror in her eyes grew even more intense. You know me? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. You're really Duan Lingtian? The black-clad woman exclaimed in surprise when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. Then she asked, Are you really as strong as a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial in Muro realm, who possessed a celestial supreme treasure, when you're just an eminent celestial? Are you sure you're as strong as a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial? I'll never change my name, Duan Lingtian replied. Based on the black-clad woman's words, Duan Lingtian finally understood why the black-clad woman was able to call out his name. As it turned out, she had heard about his actions outside the location of the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial. It's really you. After obtaining further confirmation from Duan Lingtian, The black-clad woman heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, the dread in her eyes when she looked at Duan Lingtian disappeared, and was replaced by a strong sense of curiosity. If the person in front of her was Duan Lingtian, he might not be interested in the celestial supreme treasure in her possession. Even if he was interested in the celestial supreme treasure, he could have just killed her and taken it away. There was no need for him to waste time talking to her. Earlier, when I asked if any of you were from Yanhuang realm, your gaze told me that you're from Yanhuang realm, right? Duan Lingtian asked the black-clad woman. Earlier, when he asked the question, the black-clad woman's gaze was different from the others. To a certain extent, it revealed that she was from the Yanhuang realm. Yes. This time, the black-clothed woman replied in time to Duan Lingtian. Earlier, she had ignored Duan Lingtian's question and asked Duan Lingtian if he wanted to take her celestial supreme treasure. That was why Duan Lingtian took her celestial supreme treasure away. After replying to Duan Lingtian, her gaze fell on the dagger in Duan Lingtian's hand. The dagger was the celestial supreme treasure she had obtained from the heaven-ranked treasure vault. Do you still want to take back this celestial supreme treasure? Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he heard the black-clad woman's reply. He did not forget to weigh the dagger in his hand as he asked the question. Are you willing to return it to me? The black-clad woman's eyes lit up when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. In fact, when the celestial supreme treasure was in Duan Lingtian's hands, she was already mentally prepared to lose it. She did not expect Duan Lingtian to be willing to return the celestial supreme treasure to her. If Duan Lingtian was willing to return the celestial supreme treasure to her, she would naturally want it. After all, it was a celestial supreme treasure. As long as you bring me to the exit that leads to Yanhuang realm in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, I'm willing to return the celestial supreme treasure to you. Duan Lingtian stated his condition. It was not easy for him to meet someone from Yanhuang realm. Naturally, Duan Lingtian did not want to miss this opportunity. Therefore, he wanted her to lead him to the exit that led to Yanhuang realm in the Beyond Heaven secret zone. You want to go to Yanhuang realm? Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the black-clad woman finally understood why Duan Lingtian had asked them if they were from Yanhuang realm. As it turned out, Duan Lingtian wanted to go to Yanhuang realm. Yes, Duan Lingtian nodded. Don't you have a disciple from the Celestial Master sect with you? Why don't you just ask him to bring you there? The black-clad woman asked curiously. She had heard about what Duan Lingtian had done outside the location of the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial. Not only did she hear about how Duan Lingtian had managed to kill the strongest 8 tribulation bodiless celestial in Muro realm with his strength that was comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial, but she had also heard about how Duan Lingtian had a disciple from the Celestial Master's sect with him. You know about this as well? Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised. However, he did not conceal anything and continued to say, I brought him back to the Saint Province realm. Now that we've entered the Beyond Heaven secret zone again, we're separated again. I see. The black-clad woman nodded. Then, a hint of cunning flashed in her eyes. Duan Lingtian could not help but frown when he saw the hint of cunning in the black-clad woman's eyes. An ominous feeling rose in his heart. You want me to bring you to the entrance of the Beyond Heaven secret zone that leads to Yanhuang realm? That's not a problem at all. However, before that, apart from returning the celestial supreme treasure to me, you have to help me clear the remaining obstacles in the heaven-ranked treasure vault. I want the divine ability at the back. As for the incomplete legacy, I'm not interested in it, so there's no need for you to help me clear all the trials in the heaven-ranked treasure vault. The black-clad woman said as she looked at Duan Lingtian. Don't push your luck. Duan Lingtian's expression darkened. Returning your celestial supreme treasure is the best I can do. Now, you want me to help you obtain the divine ability in the heaven-ranked treasure vault? I'm not pushing my luck. The slyness in the black-clad woman's eyes intensified. It shouldn't be difficult for you to help me clear the remaining trials, right? Naturally, it would not be difficult for Duan Lingtian to clear the remaining trials in the heaven-ranked treasure vault. In fact, It would not be difficult for him to clear all the trials in the heaven-rank treasure vault. However, he did not want to waste too much time here. After all, it took time to comprehend and memorize the divine ability. Only by memorizing everything would he have a chance to master the divine ability in the future. My patience is limited. If you're unwilling, I'll look for someone else, Duan Lingtian said impatiently. If you want to find someone else, you can go now. It's not like I can't clear the next few stages myself. It'll just take me a little more time. It'll take some time, the black-clad woman said indifferently. Her words seemed to have caught Duan Lingtian by surprise. Aren't you worried I'll kill you? Duan Lingtian asked coldly as he stared at the black-clad woman. Will you? The black-clad woman asked. The slyness in her eyes did not diminish at all when she looked at Duan Lingtian. Humph. In the end, Duan Lingtian snorted coldly. However, he compromised in the end. It was not easy for him to find someone from the Yanhuang realm. If he missed this opportunity, he did not know when he would be able to find another one. The black-clad woman's eyes shone with a hint of smugness. Following her request, Duan Lingtian helped her clear the remaining trials. It took him 3 days and 3 nights. It was not that Duan Lingtian was not efficient. It was just that the trials were limited by the rules. Assist-type divine ability? Soon after, the divine ability in the heavenly secret treasure vault appeared before Duan Lingtian. It was an assist-type divine ability from a Devata realm. It's an assist-type divine ability. The black-clad woman was excited as she began to comprehend and memorize the assist-type divine ability. As long as she memorized the assist-type divine ability within a certain period of time, it meant she had obtained the divine ability. This was similar to how Duan Lingtian obtained the divine ability, the 13 green lotus swords. While the black-clad woman was comprehending and memorizing the assist-type divine ability, Duan Lingtian did not follow her. This was because Chapter 2505. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was not interested in comprehending and memorizing an assist-type divine ability that was far inferior to the elementary devouring tactic. Even if he managed to memorize the assist-type divine ability, he would not waste his time comprehending and mastering it. After all, even if he managed to master it, it was far inferior to the assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic. For this reason, there was no need for him to memorize and comprehend the divine ability. While she's comprehending and memorizing the assist-type divine ability, I'll continue to comprehend the 13 green lotus swords, Duan Lingtian thought to himself as he immersed himself in comprehending the divine ability. However, the divine ability he comprehended was the 13 green lotus swords. The 13 green lotus swords was an extremely powerful divine ability from the Devata realm. Although he had mastered it to a certain level, it was only comparable to ordinary divine abilities in the Devata realms at best. If he wanted to fully explore the 13 green lotus swords, he would have to further comprehend it. Duan Lingtian was immersed in comprehending the 13 green lotus swords. He seemed to have forgotten about time. It was only when the black-clad woman woke him up that he discovered the stone tablet that recorded the assist-type divine ability from the Devata realm had disappeared without a trace. Have you memorized it? Duan Lingtian asked as he looked at the black-clad woman. Yes. The black-clad woman nodded. Although only her eyes were exposed, Duan Lingtian could see the joy in her eyes. After I memorized it and opened my eyes, the stone tablet that recorded it disappeared after a few breaths. Upon hearing the black-clad woman's words, Duan Lingtian realized the joy in her eyes. As it turned out, she had almost missed out on the assist-type divine ability from the Devata realm. Can you bring me to the secret realm now? Duan Lingtian asked when he learned the black-clad woman had memorized the assist-type divine ability. To him, that was proper business. Let's go. The black-clad woman nodded and prepared to lead the way to the exit of the Beyond Heaven secret zone that led to Yanhuang realm. Whoosh! However, just as the black-clad woman was about to leave the canyon and head east, Duan Lingtian suddenly raised his hand. A vast energy shrouded the black-clad woman and brought her along as though she had transformed into a bolt of lightning as she flew east. So fast, the black-clothed woman, who was being led by Duan Lingtian, also realized at this moment that Duan Lingtian was leading her. Duan Lingtian's speed was so fast that it was not something her speed could compare to. However, a moment later she realized something else. Duan Lingtian's speed became even faster. All of this was because Duan Lingtian had withdrawn a sword and executed the sword formation again. Moreover, he had even stepped on the sword formation as he moved. Take it. Just as the woman in black was still in shock over Duan Lingtian's ridiculous speed, Duan Lingtian's voice rang in her ears. In the next moment, she saw Duan Lingtian raising his hand and tossing the dagger to her, as though it was a piece of trash. It's a celestial supreme treasure, you. The black-clothed woman was speechless when she saw Duan Lingtian casually tossing her celestial supreme treasure to her. The rest of the journey was extremely calm. In the end, the black-clothed woman broke the silence. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tang Xiao, and I'm a disciple of the Tang sect in Yanhuang realm. Not only did she introduce herself, but she also introduced the force behind her. Tang sect. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he heard Tang Xiao's words. He could not help but ask, the Tang sect you're from, does it originate from planet Yanhuang? Yes. Tang Xiao nodded. Like the Celestial Masters sect, our Tang sect originates from planet Yanhuang. However, compared to the Celestial Masters sect, our Tang sect is slightly weaker, since we don't have any 9 tribulation bodiless celestials. Although our Tang sect is inferior to the Celestial Masters sect, even the Celestial Masters sect won't dare to make a move on us. Perhaps, the Celestial Masters sect might be able to destroy our Tang sect, but as long as they don't kill all of us, the Celestial Masters sect won't be able to rest in peace. A hint of pride could be seen in Tang Xiao's eyes as she spoke. Is the Tang sect good at using hidden weapons? Duan Lingtian asked. When he was on Earth in his previous life, he had heard of the existence of the Tang sect. He had even met an old man from the Tang sect. The old man had taught him a flying knife skill, which had helped him escape from several dangerous situations. During those times, he had used up all his ammunition. If he did not have the flying dagger technique, he would have been shot full of holes by his opponents. For this reason, he could not help but feel a sense of familiarity when he heard Tang Xiao said, she was from the Tang sect. Apart from that, he was also slightly shocked. As far as he could remember, the Tang sect was just a mundane sect that only knew how to use inner energy. However, Tang Xiao's appearance made him realize that the Tang sect was not simple at all. It was highly likely that the Tang sect had declined in the past. That was why he had such an impression of the Tang sect. How do you know about this? Tang Xiao was slightly surprised by Duan Lingtian's question. She asked again, did the disciple of the Celestial Masters sect tell you about this? No. Duan Lingtian shook his head. While he was shaking his head, he raised his hand and formed a flying dagger in front of Tang Xiao. Then, with a very rough technique, he threw out the flying knife in his hand. This is the Tang sect's hidden weapon technique. Tang Xiao's eyes were filled with shock. Although Duan Lingtian's throwing technique was crude, Tang Xiao could still see traces of her Tang sect's hidden weapon technique from his crude technique. How do you know the Tang sect's hidden weapon technique? Tang Xiao asked in shock as she looked at Duan Lingtian. I met a senior from the Tang sect by chance in the past. He taught me. Duan Lingtian smiled. How dare he teach someone with his mediocre skills? He's a disgrace to the Tang sect. If I wasn't familiar with the Tang sect's hidden weapon technique, I wouldn't have been able to see the Tang sect's hidden weapon technique in your throwing technique. Tang Xiao said with a frown. Based on her words, she felt that the person who taught Duan Lingtian the flying dagger technique was a disgrace to the Tang sect. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he heard Tang Xiao's words. In his previous life, during the Age of Chaos, it was already very rare for the Tang sect's old man to be able to use the Tang sect's hidden weapon technique. How could he be compared to Tang Xiao, who was the successor of the Tang sect? It's right up ahead. With Duan Lingtian's full speed, it did not take long for them to arrive at the entrance of the Beyond Heaven secret zone that led to Yanhuang realm. Tang Xiaoxiao reminded Duan Lingtian. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded. We're here. After a while, Tang Xiaoxiao's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears. Duan Lingtian noticed something. In the distance, a small black dot appeared in his field of vision. As he got closer, the little black dot started to grow bigger and bigger. Finally, it turned into a huge black hole. It was like the bloody mouth of a spatial behemoth that wanted to swallow everyone who got close. Zhang Yi isn't here yet? After a while, Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao arrived at the entrance of the Beyond Heaven secret zone that led to Yinhuang realm. They looked around for a while, but Zhang Yi was nowhere to be seen. It seems like he was sent to a place far away from here when he entered the Beyond Heaven secret zone. It was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to figure this out. As it turned out, Duan Lingtian's guess was correct. After waiting for a day and a night, Zhang Yi finally arrived. Duan Lingtian, I didn't expect you to arrive before me. Zhang Yi, who had just arrived, said in surprise when he saw Duan Lingtian was already waiting for him. Who is she? Zhang Yi's attention was attracted by the black-clad woman standing next to Duan Lingtian. The black-clad woman stood next to Duan Lingtian. Her eyes were cold and calm, and it seemed as though she was constantly emitting a cold aura. She's Tang Xiaoxiao. She's also from Yinhuang realm. Duan Lingtian said. Tang Xiaoxiao. Zhang Yi exclaimed when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. His eyes were filled with shock when he looked at the black-clad woman again. Why, you're the strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect, Tang Xiaoxiao. That's me. Tang Xiaoxiao seemed to enjoy Zhang Yi's shock. She looked at Duan Lingtian with a smug expression on her face, as though she was telling Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, you're the strongest person among the younger generation. I, Tang Xiaoxiao, am considered a celebrity in Yinhuang realm. The strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect. Duan Lingtian looked at Tang Xiaoxiao in surprise when he heard Zhang Yi's words. Although he knew Tang Xiaoxiao was not weak, he did not expect Tang Xiaoxiao to be so strong. He did not expect Tang Xiaoxiao to be the strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect. After Duan Lingtian introduced Zhang Yi to Tang Xiaoxiao, he prepared to return to Yinhuang realm with Zhang Yi. I'll go with you. Tang Xiaoxiao bade farewell to Duan Lingtian and Zhang Yi before she disappeared into the black hole in front of them. Meanwhile, at this moment, Duan Lingtian and his two companions appeared at the entrance to the Beyond Heaven secret zone in Yinhuang realm. We're back. Zhang Yi smiled. Almost at the same time as Duan Lingtian and the other two appeared. Zhang Yi. Chapter 2506. Swoosh. The expression of Zhang Yi, who was unprepared, immediately changed when the sudden angry cry entered Zhang Yi's ears. Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao, on the other hand, turned to look at the source of the voice. An old figure could be vaguely seen in the distance. A few moments later, as the elderly figure approached, an old man appeared before Duan Lingtian's eyes. Duan Lingtian found the old man familiar. This old man, where have I seen him before? When Duan Lingtian looked at the old man's face, he felt a sense of familiarity, as though he had seen him somewhere before. Apart from that, Duan Lingtian discovered the old man had spoken to him before. Although the old man had called out Zhang Yi's name earlier, his eyes were fixed on Zhang Yi as soon as he appeared. His eyes were filled with rage and murderous intent. It was as though he wanted to tear Zhang Yi into pieces. He seems to hate me? Duan Lingtian was taken aback when he saw the old man's expression. Although he felt that the old man in front of him looked familiar, he could not recall where he had seen this old man before. Lord Left Guardian of Dharma. While Duan Lingtian was wondering why the old man was glaring at him, Zhang Yi, who was standing next to him, exclaimed in surprise. What's going on? The Left Guardian of Dharma? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow when he heard Zhang Yi's words. It's him. Duan Lingtian knew who the old man was when he heard Zhang Yi's words. The old man was none other than Zhang Chu-he, the Left Guardian of Dharma in Celestial Master's sect. No wonder he looks familiar. As it turns out, he's Zhang Yunfei's grandfather. After killing Zhang Yunfei in the heaven-rank treasure vault left behind by Li Bai, the Green Lotus Sword Celestial, in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, Duan Lingtian learned from Zhang Yi that the celestial master's sex Zhang Yunfei was a celestial. Zhang Yunfei's grandfather was an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial in the celestial master's sect. Zhang Yunfei's strength was on par with the other 2 8 tribulation bodiless celestials in the celestial master's sect. Free Cloud Taoist. Towever, this Zhang Chuha is quite similar to that Zhang Yunfei. After learning that the old man in front of him was Zhang Yunfei's grandfather, Zhang Chuhe, the left guardian of Dharma of the celestial master sect, Duan Lingtian could not help but take a few more glances at him. From the beginning to the end, Zhang Chua's appearance had not aroused even the slightest bit of fear. This was actually quite normal. After all, Duan Lingtian was currently as strong as a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. Why would he be afraid of an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial? Zhang Yi, you colluded with an outsider to kill your fellow disciple. Today, I'll execute you according to the sect's rules. Zhang Chuhe stepped through the air with a mighty aura as his cold eyes landed on Zhang Yi. As he spoke, it was as if the Grim Reaper had descended. The Grim Reaper's scythe whistled through the air, intending to kill Zhang Yi. Shua. Zhang Yi's expression changed drastically. Zhang Chuha seemed to be walking slowly in the air. But as he flew over, Zhang Yi found that the space around him was sealed by an extremely powerful invisible force, causing him to be unable to move his body, even if he tried his best. Humph. Duan Lingtian snorted coldly when he saw Zhang Chuhe charging toward Zhang Yi and attempting to restrain him. Zhang Yi's expression changed drastically when he saw this. In the next moment, elementary devouring tactic. In just a blink of an eye, Duan Lingtian cast the elementary devouring tactic, causing his strength to rise by 2 levels. Sword formation. At the same time, the celestial sword that appeared out of thin air in Duan Lingtian's hand began to revolve around him. In just a blink of an eye, tens of thousands of sword rays appeared and formed a sword formation above his head. This sword formation was a technique granted to Duan Lingtian by the 5th stage of the Supreme Sword Dao mental cultivation method, the heart and sword amalgamation. With just a thought, tens of thousands of soldiers would submit to him. Apart from having the ability to make tens of thousands of soldiers submit to him, the sword formation also contained a powerful offensive strength. It was much more powerful than the body and sword amalgamation. Break! Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold. The sword formation above his head suddenly shot out and circled around Zhang Yi. Instantly boom, 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 boom. A series of thunderous explosions reverberated in the air. Around where Zhang Yi stood, in the void, a number of long and ferocious void cracks appeared out of thin air. They were like black pythons that constantly swayed their bodies, causing those who saw them to feel their hair stand on end. Barf! As for Zhang Chuha, who had come with a ferocious momentum and wanted to kill Zhang Yi, he was caught off guard and suffered a backlash from the force that had imprisoned Zhang Yi. As his body came to a halt midway, he could not help but spit out a large mouthful of blood. He had suffered a backlash because he had not unleashed his full strength earlier. When Duan Lingtian's sword formation shot out, its strength was comparable to the full strength of an ordinary 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. Naturally, Zhang Chuhe, an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial, who had not unleashed his full strength, would not be able to withstand it. For this reason, he was injured by the backlash since he was caught off guard. How can you be so strong? At the same time that Zhang Chuhe extended his hand to wipe off the bloodstains on the corners of his mouth, he looked at Duan Lingtian with a gaze filled with astonishment and disbelief. The purple-clad young man standing before him was the person who had killed his grandson, Zhang Yunfei. He wanted to kill Zhang Yunfei as soon as possible. The reason he was waiting here was to wait for Zhang Yi to reveal the identity of the person who killed his grandson. Then, he would go to the mundane realm where the person who killed his grandson was, and avenge his grandson. However, what he did not expect was that while he was waiting for Zhang Yi to show up, the person who killed his grandson also showed up. He did not need to get information from Zhang Yi anymore. Therefore, he planned to kill Zhang Yi directly, and then kill the people around Zhang Yi to avenge his grandson. However, he did not expect Zhang Yi to be so strong. He did not expect the person who had killed his grandson to be so strong. Based on the strength Zhang Yi had displayed earlier, it was not inferior to his full strength. Are you surprised? Duan Lingtian said as he glanced at Zhang Chuhi indifferently. You're only an eminent celestial. Don't tell me you've obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial? Zhang Chuhi asked in disbelief. Does it have anything to do with you? Duan Lingtian said indifferently. Brat, don't be too arrogant. Zhang Chuhi was furious when he saw how arrogant an eminent celestial was. Although he knew Duan Lingtian's strength was not inferior to his, he could not help but feel enraged. Arrogant? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes as they flashed coldly. It seems like you're the one who's blocking our way, right? Do you think I'm the one who's arrogant? Humph. Zhang Chuhi snorted coldly. I'm not blocking you, I'm blocking Zhang Yi. He colluded with outsiders to kill his fellow disciple. I'm just executing him according to the rules of the Celestial Master's sect. I hope you won't interfere. Haha. Upon hearing Zhang Chuhi's words, Duan Lingtian could not help but laugh. It was as though he had heard the funniest joke in the world. What are you laughing at? Zhang Chuhi's eyes were burning with rage. It was as though he could burn everything in his sight. I'm laughing at how you don't dare to say it out loud, even though you know I'm the one who killed your grandson. Are you trying to stall for time and wait for your reinforcements to arrive before attacking me together? Earlier, when Zhang Chuhi sent out the message, Duan Lingtian had naturally noticed it. For this reason, it was not difficult for him to guess Zhang Chuhi's intentions. Zhang Chuhi must have thought Duan Lingtian's strength was not inferior to an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. That was why he was not confident he could kill Duan Lingtian. What a joke! Do you think you're worthy of me looking for reinforcements? Zhang Chuhi's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. However, his words were unyielding. Is that so? Duan Lingtian smiled brightly. However, there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. However, since you're so interested, I'll wait here for your reinforcements. However, my patience is limited. I'll only wait for 15 minutes at most. If your reinforcements don't arrive after 15 minutes, don't blame me for being merciless. Duan Lingtian said indifferently. His gaze turned cold when he looked at Zhang Chuhi. Zhang Chuhi felt as though he had fallen into an ice cellar. How arrogant! Zhang Chuhi was livid when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. In his opinion, this person who had killed his grandson was only comparable to an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. Under such circumstances, it would be difficult for him to kill Duan Lingtian, and it would be difficult for Duan Lingtian to kill him as well. However, Duan Lingtian had said he would not show him any mercy? Did Duan Lingtian think he was a pushover? Left guardian of Dharma. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi looked at Zhang Chuha and said anxiously. That day, Zhang Yunfei died purely because he coveted the celestial supreme treasure in my friend's possession. If it wasn't for that, my friend wouldn't have killed him. Left guardian of Dharma. You must have notified the right guardian to come over, right? Left guardian of Dharma. I hope you'll reconsider. It's fine if you want to get involved, but don't drag the right guardian into this as well. Zhang Yi's tone turned slightly gloomy when he spoke. What did you say? Zhang Chuhi was furious when he heard Zhang Yi's words. Based on what you're saying, even if the right guardian comes, both of us together won't be a match for this brat? What a joke! Do you really think he's Feng Qingyang, who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial in the Beyond Heaven secret zone? Chapter 2507. The Left Guardian of Dharma. Duan Lingtian killed Wuxia, the strongest 8 tribulation bodiless celestial in Muro realm. His strength is comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. Zhang Yi said in a deep voice. Let alone the right guardian, even Lord Sect Leader and the Free Cloud Ancestor wouldn't be able to stop Duan Lingtian from leaving. Zhang Yi was well aware of Duan Lingtian's strength. The reason why he was telling Zhang Chuha this was to remind him not to involve the Celestial Master sect in his personal grudges. It would only drag the Celestial Master sect down. In Yanhuang realm, the Celestial Master sect was a powerful sect, but Duan Lingtian was all alone. If they became enemies, It would be a disaster for the Celestial Masters sect. As a disciple of the Celestial Masters sect, naturally, he did not want to see the Celestial Masters sect and Duan Lingtian become enemies. For this reason, he did not hesitate to warn Zhang Chu. When he learned Zhang Chu had sent a message to look for help. Duan Lingtian? As it turns out, he's Duan Lingtian. He killed a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial with just a blow. When Zhang Chu was in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, he had heard that Duan Lingtian had killed a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial with just a blow. He had even heard that Duan Lingtian had killed a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial who possessed a celestial supreme treasure. However, the reason the 7 tribulation bodiless celestial was killed was because Duan Lingtian had used a technique to snatch a celestial supreme treasure. In other words, although the 7 tribulation bodiless celestial possessed a celestial supreme treasure, it was useless. Naturally, this was the extent of Zhang Chu's knowledge. He knew nothing about what had happened to Duan Lingtian, outside the location of the inheritance, from a great overarching golden celestial. For this reason, he did not believe Zhang Yi's words. He thought that Zhang Yi was purposely mystifying him, and wanted him to back off so that he could escape. If Zhang Yi was not deliberately mystifying things, and if Duan Lingtian was really that powerful, why would he waste so much time talking to him? Wouldn't it be easier to just kill him? However, Zhang Chu would never have dreamed that this would happen. The reason why Duan Lingtian was acting so normally was because of Zhang Yi. Protector Chu, you sent a message for me to come over. Did you encounter something troublesome? Just as 15 minutes were about to pass, a bell-like voice rang out from afar. Subsequently, an old man with a short yet extraordinarily robust figure appeared before the eyes of Duan Lingtian and the others. Moreover, in the blink of an eye, he arrived by Zhang Chu's side and stared fiercely at Duan Lingtian and the others. Zhang Yi. The short and sturdy old man was stunned when he saw Zhang Yi standing next to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, this is Guardian Shizhong, the right guardian of our Celestial Master sect. My master is indebted to him. If it's possible, please have mercy on him. Zhang Yi sighed inwardly when he saw the old man. He could not help but send a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian to plead for Shizhong, the right guardian of the Celestial Master sect. Don't worry. Duan Lingtian gave Zhang Yi a reassuring look before he replied through voice transmission. Apart from Zhang Chu, I won't kill anyone else in the Celestial Masters sect. After all, I know you want to stay in the Celestial Masters sect. My roots are still there after all. Zhang Yi sighed. Guardian Shizhong, Zhang Yi colluded with outsiders to kill fellow disciples and my grandson, Zhang Yunfei. He deserves to die. Zhang Chu said in a deep voice. Swoosh. As soon as Zhang Chu finished speaking, the expression of the right guardian of the Celestial Masters sect, Shizhong, changed. He stared at Zhang Yi fiercely and asked, What are you talking about? He glared at Zhang Yi and asked, Zhang Yi, is what Guardian Chu said true? You colluded with outsiders to kill Zhang Yunfei? Although Zhang Yi's master was one of the juniors he liked, Zhang Yunfei was one of the most outstanding juniors in the Celestial Masters sect. However, Zhang Yunfei was one of the best in the younger generation of the Sage sect, second only to his twin brother Zhang Yunting. He was of great significance to the Sage sect. Therefore, he was furious when he heard Zhang Yi colluded with outsiders to kill Zhang Yunfei. Right guardian facing Shizhong's questioning, Zhang Yi was just about to explain when he was interrupted by Zhang Chu's cold snort. Zhang Yi, what else do you want to say? I saw it with my own eyes through the mirror image. How dare you refute me? Today, I will first kill the person who killed my grandson, and then I will settle the score with you. After leaving these words behind, Zhang Chu's figure flashed out, and drew out a long ray of light in the sky that flashed towards Duan Lingtian like a jade rainbow piercing through the sun. Moreover, he did not hold back at all when he attacked. At this moment, he could no longer hold back. After all, Zhang Chu was not any weaker than him. You overestimate yourself. Duan Lingtian lowered his eyes when he saw Zhang Chu charging at him menacingly. He extended his hands as though he was giving an order. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. The moment Duan Ling Tian extended his arms, the sword formation above his head seemed to have eyes as it whistled out to meet Zhang Chuhi, who was charging at him menacingly. Bang! 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 Faced with Duan Ling Tian's sword formation, that was as powerful as an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial's full-powered attack, Zhang Chuhi immediately unleashed all his strength. He did not dare to hold back at all as he chose to meet Duan Ling Tian's sword formation head-on. Chi! 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 A series of noises rang in the air, as though something was being torn apart. It was the voice that came from the space where Zhang Chuhe was. When Zhang Chuhe took Duan Ling Tian's sword formation head-on, the space in front of him seemed to have collapsed and caved in. Moreover, countless dense cracks appeared in the space like countless spider webs that were intertwined together. How powerful! Tang Xiaozhao's eyes lit up when she saw this. She was standing next to Duan Ling Tian. Although she had heard about Duan Ling Tian's strength, hearing about it and seeing it with her own eyes were two completely different things. She knew Zhang Chuhe was a bona fide 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. Wow! Although Zhang Chuhe managed to block most of the power of the sword array, in the end, his strength was still slightly inferior, and he was directly blasted away by the power of the sword array. Once again, he spat out a large mouthful of blood, his figure in a sorry state. Seeing this, Shi Zhong's pupils suddenly constricted. At the same time, he began to seriously size up the purple-clothed young man in front of him. When he first arrived, the divine consciousness he extended out told him the purple-clad young man was only an eminent celestial. However, this eminent celestial had actually defeated Zhang Chuhe, the left guardian of the Celestial Masters sect, in a head-on battle. Although it was a narrow victory, a victory was a victory. No wonder Zhang Chuhe sent me a message to come over. So he's a ruthless character. Looking at the purple-clothed young man in front of him, Shi Zhong's eyes suddenly narrowed. There was a faint trace of fear in his heart, but he was not afraid at all. After all, based on the strength the purple-clothed young man had displayed, he and Zhang Chuhe could easily deal with him if they joined forces. Sir, are you the person who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial in the Beyond Heaven secret zone? Shi Zhong looked at Duan Ling Tian and asked bluntly, May I know which force you're from? Guardian Shi Zhong. He's not from Yanhuang realm. At this moment, Zhang Chuhe, who had just recovered from his injuries, said in a deep voice, He's from the Saint Province realm, a small mundane realm. There's a sword-type celestial supreme treasure in his sword array. A celestial sword. Upon hearing Zhang Chuhe's words, Shi Zhong looked at the sword array above Duan Ling Tian's head. Indeed, there was a celestial sword in it. Immediately his eyes burned with passion. Do people from the Celestial Masters sect have so much to say? Duan Ling Tian said impatiently as he looked at Zhang Chuhe and Shi Zhong indifferently. He had waited for Shi Zhong to come over to pave the way for Zhang Yi. However, since Shi Zhong was here, he did not want to waste any more time. How arrogant! Zhang Chuhe's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Ling Tian's impatient words. Shi Zhong's expression darkened immediately. He felt that this purple-clad young man was too arrogant. Humph! Right when Zhang Chuhe grunted coldly and pounced towards Duan Ling Tian, once more like a cockroach that refused to be killed. Shi Zhong, you're the right guardian of the Celestial Masters sect, right? I waited for you to come because I wanted you to watch a good show. Now that you're here, it's time for a good show to begin. Duan Ling Tian did not even look at Zhang Chuhe, who was charging at him again. Instead, he looked at Shi Zhong and said nonchalantly, A good show. Shi Zhong, who was about to join forces with Zhang Chuhe, was stunned by Duan Ling Tian's words. He saw another scene that he would never forget for the rest of his life. The moment Duan Ling Tian's words left his mouth, the sword formation in the air above his head whistled as it shot out again. However, this time, it wasn't just one sword formation that was whistling out. Instead, it was more than 5 or 6 sword formations. The sword formations that shot out from the back quickly merged with the first sword formation, causing it to emit a terrifying destructive aura. Duan Ling Tian had unleashed his divine ability, the 13 green lotus swords, with all his might. This aura. Shi Zhong was familiar with this aura. No. Impossible. No. Zhang Chuhi's panicked voice rang in the air. This time, he was annihilated by the sword formation in the blink of an eye. He did not even have time to finish his sentence. 9. 9 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial. His strength is comparable to a 9 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial. The scene before him made Shi Zhong tremble in fear. And it also made Shi Zhong realize that the purple-clad young man's strength was comparable to a 9 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial. Even Feng Qingyang from the Saint Province realm, who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial during the Beyond Heaven secret zone, was only this strong before he ascended, right? Chapter 2508. Zhang Chuhi was the left guardian of Dharma, an 8 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial. He was killed by Duan Lingtian in just a single blow. It was as though Duan Lingtian was a completely different person compared to before. Because in the previous exchange, Duan Lingtian wasn't much stronger than Zhang Chuhi. However, at this moment, even Shi Zhong, the right guardian of Celestial Master's sect, could tell Duan Lingtian was not weak at all. He was certain Duan Lingtian had held back during the previous exchange. He was certain Duan Lingtian had only used his full strength at this moment and killed Zhang Chuhi, who was on par with him, in just a single blow. This purple-clad young man is another Feng Qingyang. Shi Zhong felt a chill run down his spine when he thought of this. At the same time, he was glad he did not make a move in time. Otherwise, Zhang Chuhi would not be the only one who would be killed. He knew his limits. With the strength Duan Lingtian displayed now that he could kill Zhang Chuhi as easily as killing a chicken. Even if he was facing the joint forces of Zhang Chuhi and him, Duan Lingtian would not feel any pressure at all. In the entire Celestial Master's sect, I'm afraid only Ancestor Xian Yin is a match for him, Shi Zhong thought to himself. Soon after, Shi Zhong's expression tensed up as he clenched his fists tightly. His palms were sweating profusely. All of this was because he discovered that the purple-clad young man who killed Zhang Chuhi was looking at him indifferently. Although there was no killing intent in the purple-clad young man's eyes, he could not help but feel frightened. Because he knew, if the purple-clad young man wanted to kill him, it would only take him a blink of an eye. Guardian Shi Zhong, right? Duan Lingtian looked at Shi Zhong and said indifferently, I'm Duan Lingtian from the Saint Province realm. Zhang Yi is a friend I made in the Beyond Heaven secret zone. Zhang Yunfei from the Celestial Master's sect tried to steal my Celestial Supreme Treasure and was killed by me. This has nothing to do with Zhang Yi. Whether it was killing Zhang Yunfei in the Beyond Heaven mystery zone or killing Zhang Chuha just now, I, Duan Lingtian, have a clear conscience. If your Celestial Master's sect has a grudge against me, feel free to seek revenge on me. I'm always ready. However, if you vent your anger on Zhang Yi because of this, don't blame me for going to the Celestial Master's sect and making a scene. When Duan Lingtian reached the end of his sentence, his gaze turned sharp and piercing as he spoke. Hiss. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Shi Zhong couldn't help but gasp. With Duan Lingtian's strength, if he really went to the Celestial Master's sect and made a ruckus, the Celestial Master's sect would definitely be in chaos. After all, with the strength that Duan Lingtian had shown so far, even the strongest person in the Celestial Master sect could only fight to a draw with Duan Lingtian at most. Most importantly, the strongest person in the Celestial Master's sect would not be able to protect everyone in the Celestial Master's sect at all times. Apart from that, not only does Zhang Yi possess the Celestial Supreme Treasure I gave him, but he also possesses an offensive divine ability from a Devata realm. If the Celestial Master's sect nurtures him well and passes on the assist-type divine ability and celestial method from the Devata realm to him, he'll definitely surpass Zhang Yunfei in the future. After threatening the Celestial Master's sect in front of Shi Zhong, Duan Lingtian began to think about the Celestial Master's sect. As long as the Celestial Master's sect nurtured Zhang Yi with all their might, Zhang Yi would definitely surpass Zhang Yi. Celestial Supreme Treasure? An offensive divine ability from a Devata realm? Shi Zhong gasped again when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He turned to look at Zhang Yi with a puzzled expression on his face. It was as though he wanted to verify Duan Lingtian's words with Zhang Yi. When he saw Zhang Yi nodding, he was certain Duan Lingtian was right. Duan Lingtian was not lying. Apart from that, I'm friends with Brother Xian Yuanji from the Yellow Arch Mansion. I heard from Brother Xian Yuanji that he's close to the Free Cloud Celestial Masters sect. Please tell the Free Cloud Celestial Masters sect that I'll visit the Celestial Masters sect if I have the chance. Duan Lingtian continued to say as he looked at Shi Zhong. After he finished speaking, he looked at Zhang Yi who was standing next to him and said bluntly, Zhang Yi, this is all I can do for you. That's enough, Zhang Yi replied gratefully. That's enough, Zhang Yi replied gratefully. Based on Duan Lingtian's words, it was enough to guarantee his safety in the Celestial Master sect. In fact, he had already heaved a sigh of relief when Zhang Chu he was killed by Duan Lingtian. After all, he had said Zhang Chu he was the biggest obstacle to his return to the Celestial Masters sect. Now that Zhang Chu he was dead, coupled with Duan Lingtian's help, his life in the Celestial Masters sect would only be better than before. Xian Yuanji? Shi Zhong was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Then, he looked at Duan Lingtian in shock. You're friends with Senior Xian Yuanji? Xian Yuanji was one of the 2 tribulation bodiless celestials in the Yellow Arch Mansion. He was also a close friend of the Free Cloud Celestial in the Celestial Masters sect. Shi Zhong was aware of this. Yes, Duan Lingtian nodded. Then, he raised his hand, and a purple gold order token appeared in his hand. As soon as he sent his energy into it, a purple gold light shot out of the order token and pointed to the north. The Yellow Arch Mansion is in the north? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. Naturally, he did not plan to go to the Yellow Arch Mansion immediately. Even if he went to the Yellow Arch Mansion now, Xian Yuanji might not have returned. If I have time after returning from Earth, I'll pay a visit to the Yellow Arch Mansion. Duan Lingtian made up his mind. Now that he had returned to Yanhuang Realm, his first thought was to return to Earth. Earth was his hometown in his past life. Moreover, his obsession was there as well. In the past, Duan Lingtian did not know he would be able to return to Earth. After all, he did not care much about his past life. However, now that he knew there was a chance for him to return to Earth, he could not help but recall how he was betrayed by his manager in his past life. His heart burned with anger. I'd like to ask him why he betrayed me back then. Duan Lingtian still could not let go of the fact that his manager had betrayed him and killed him in his past life. After all, he had always regarded his manager as a brother, and the only family he had in his past life. He had never thought he would die in his manager's hands. Now a few decades have passed. Calculating the time, he's already old. I hope he's still alive. It had been a few decades since Duan Lingtian had transmigrated to this world. For this reason, Duan Lingtian's manager in his past life must be in his 70s or 80s now. In fact, he might have died of old age. It doesn't matter if he's still on Earth or not. I'm going back. Even if it's just a glance and stay for a while. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. This is the violet gold order of the Yellow Arch Mansion. While Duan Lingtian was playing with the violet gold order token, Shi Zhong, the right guardian of the Celestial Masters sect, narrowed his eyes when he saw the violet gold order token in Duan Lingtian's hand. This was because the violet gold token in Duan Lingtian's hand was no ordinary token. As far as Shi Zhong knew, apart from the older generation powerhouses who had ascended to the Devata realms, there were only a handful of people who possessed the purple gold token. Without exception, all of them were top experts in Yanhuang realm. To the people of the Xianyuan mansion, to outsiders, those who held the purple gold token were all friends of the Yellow Arch Mansion. Making an enemy out of them was equivalent to making an enemy out of the Yellow Arch Mansion. To those who held the purple gold token, it was equivalent to meeting the mansion master of Yellow Arch Mansion. I almost forgot. Although he's only an eminent celestial, his strength is comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. It's not surprising that he possesses the violet gold order from the Yellow Arch Mansion. Shi Zhong felt relieved when he thought about this. Zhang Yi, if I have time before I ascend, I'll look for you in the Celestial Master's sect. If I don't have time, let's meet in the Devata realms. Duan Lingtian looked at Zhang Yi with a smile on his face. He did not have many friends in his life, but he cherished each and every one of them. All right. Zhang Yi nodded solemnly. To him, apart from being a friend, Duan Lingtian was also his benefactor. He really wanted to tell Duan Lingtian that he would not return to the Celestial Master sect for the time being. He would return after Duan Lingtian had ascended. However, on second thought, with his strength, he would only be a burden even if he stayed by Duan Lingtian's side. Therefore, he did not say those words in the end. Let's go. Duan Lingtian called out to Tang Xiaoxiao, and the two of them left. Their figures disappeared from Zhang Yi and Shizhong's sight in the blink of an eye. Zhang Yi, you've made an amazing friend. When Duan Lingtian's figure disappeared, Shizhong retracted his gaze. At the same time, he looked at Zhang Yi and sighed. I know. Zhang Yi nodded. He had also retracted his gaze, but there was a hint of reluctance in the depths of his eyes. He knew clearly in his heart. This time, he was separated from Duan Lingtian. If Duan Lingtian did not have the time to see him before he ascended, it would be difficult for them to meet again in the future. The Devata realms were vast and boundless. If one Devata realm was already like this, let alone the 81 Devata realms. Zhang Yi, did Duan Lingtian obtain the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial during the opening of the Beyond Heaven secret zone? Shizhong could not help but ask as he looked at Zhang Yi. Although he was certain Duan Lingtian had obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial, his strength was comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial, even though he was only an eminent celestial. However, even though he felt that way, he couldn't help but want to confirm it. He was certain Zhang Yi had the right to say this. No. However, Shizhong did not expect Zhang Yi to shake his head in response to his question. Chapter 2509. Duan Lingtian did not obtain the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial? Upon hearing Zhang Yi's words, Shizhong froze on the spot with an expression of shock and disbelief on his face. Actually, when he asked Zhang Yi about this, he was just asking casually. After all, he was certain that Duan Lingtian was not weak at all. Duan Lingtian must have obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial. However, Zhang Yi was telling him that Duan Lingtian was not weak at all. He was certain that Duan Lingtian did not obtain the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial. He's so strong without obtaining the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial. Is he even human? Shizhong muttered to himself when he regained his senses. Although Duan Lingtian did not obtain the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial, he's the successor of Senior Feng Qingyang, who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial the last time the Beyond Heaven secret zone opened. Zhang Yi explained. No wonder. Upon hearing Zhang Yi's words, realization dawned on Shizhong. If that's the case, it makes sense. However, I didn't expect the person who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial would pass it on to his successor. Doesn't this mean if the person who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial is willing to share it with someone else, that person will have a chance to obtain the inheritance as well? Shizhong's eyes lit up when he thought of this. He turned to look at Zhang Yi and asked, Zhang Yi, you said the person who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial is Duan Lingtian's friend? Lord Right Protector, don't even think about that person's idea. Zhang Yi seemed to know what Shizhong was thinking. That person is currently with Senior Xian Yuanji from the Yellow Arch Mansion. Moreover, he's now a guest elder of the Yellow Arch Mansion. In another 2 years, he'll leave the Beyond Heaven secret zone with Senior Xian Yuanji and return to the Yellow Arch Mansion. The Yellow Arch Mansion actually beat us to it. Shizhong smiled wryly. At the same time, he dismissed the idea of recruiting the person who obtained the inheritance from a great overarching golden celestial. Since that person had gone to the Yellow Arch Mansion, the Celestial Master's sect no longer had anything to do with him. Let's go back. Shizhong looked at Zhang Yi with a complicated expression on his face before he continued to say, I didn't expect the opening of the Beyond Heaven secret zone would bring you so much success. If you work hard when you return, you might even be able to defeat Zhang Yunting. I can already imagine, when your master learns of all this, he will definitely be grinning from ear to ear. Shi Zhong said. Hee hee. When Zhang Yi heard Shi Zhong's words, he smiled shyly in embarrassment. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi followed Shi Zhong back to the Celestial Master's sect. Meanwhile, under Tang Xiaoxiao's lead, Duan Ling Tian had arrived at one of the transporting formations on the planet that led to the Beyond Heaven secret zone in Yinhuang Realm. Is that a teleportation array? Duan Ling Tian felt his scalp go numb as he looked at the huge complex pattern on the ground in front of him. This was the first time he had seen such an exaggerated teleportation array. Yes. Tang Xiaoxiao, who was standing next to Duan Ling Tian, nodded. This is the interstellar transportation formation. The mother formation is divided into 81 subformations. Come with me. Under Tang Xiaoxiao's lead, Duan Ling Tian arrived at a subformation of the interstellar transportation formation. Although the area of this subarray was far smaller than the main array, it was enough to accommodate 7 or 8 people, and there was a stone tablet beside it. On top of the stone tablet, there was a large notch. You just need to put the holy stone in, and then click on the galaxy you want to go to. It will then send you to the mother planet of that galaxy. Look, this teleportation array is connected to the mother planets of 9 galaxies. Tang Xiaoxiao said as she pointed to the stone tablet beside her. Duan Ling Tian glanced over and realized, on one side of the stone tablet, there were some words engraved, and he recognized these words. Cloud Mist Galaxy, Boulder Galaxy, Lucy Galaxy. There was a mechanical button in each of the places marked with the words Mother Planet. It looked very flexible. Come with me to the galaxy where the Tang sect is located first. Tang Xiaoxiao said as she took out a pile of holy stones and filled the notch on the stone tablet. At the same time, she pressed the mechanical button corresponding to the Cloud Mist Galaxy. If you want to go to the galaxy where the Tang sect is located from here, you'll need to make 3 transits. As soon as Tang Xiaoxiao's voice entered Duan Ling Tian's ears, Duan Ling Tian discovered something. When Tang Xiaoxiao pressed the mechanical button, the pile of holy stones that she had just put into the notch was swallowed by an invisible force that extended from the notch. Following that, the subformation of the interstellar transportation formation that he and Tang Xiaoxiao were in began to emit a dazzling light. In the blink of an eye, he and Tang Xiaoxiao were enveloped by the light that extended from the teleportation array. In the next moment, Duan Ling Tian's vision turned dark. However, this situation only lasted for a while. After a while, his eyes lit up again. At this time, he discovered that he was in another place. He had already arrived at another place. And this place was also the location of an interstellar transportation formation. He and Tang Xiaoxiao happened to be in the middle of a subformation. Whoosh! Whoosh! After 2 more transits, Duan Ling Tian and Tang Xiaoxiao finally arrived at the galaxy where the Tang sect was located. This is the mother planet of the Tang sect's galaxy, planet Shutang. Tang Xiaoxiao introduced Duan Ling Tian to Duan Ling Tian. Planet Shutang? Duan Ling Tian nodded. At the same time, he guessed that this planet was named by the ancestors of the Tang sect. It was on Earth where he lived in his previous life. The Tang sect was known as the Tang sect of Shu. If I want to go to planet Yanhuang, how do I get there? Duan Ling Tian asked. This was what he wanted to do the most at the moment. Because there's no teleportation array on planet Yanhuang. If you want to go to planet Yanhuang, you'll have to teleport to a galaxy near the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located. Then, you'll have to cross the galaxy with your physical body to reach planet Yanhuang, Tang Xiaoxiao said. Duan Ling Tian nodded. When they were still in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, Tang Xiaoxiao had learned from Duan Ling Tian that Duan Ling Tian had come to Yinhuang Realm to go to planet Yinhuang. For this reason, she had brought Duan Ling Tian here to make it easier for Duan Ling Tian to return to planet Yinhuang. Then send me to a galaxy near the galaxy where planet Yinhuang is located. Duan Ling Tian's eyes lit up as he spoke impatiently. It's not that simple. However, Tang Xiaoxiao shook her head in response to Duan Lingtian's eagerness. What's wrong? Duan Lingtian's heart skipped a beat, and his brows furrowed. It's easy to teleport you to a galaxy near the galaxy, where planet Yanhuang is located. However, once you're in a galaxy near the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located, you'll have to confirm the direction and location of planet Yanhuang before you can reach the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located, right? Tang Xiaoxiao said. Can't the people nearby show me the way? Duan Lingtian asked. In his opinion, when he arrived at a galaxy near the galaxy where planet Yanhuang was located, he could just ask a random person for the location of planet Yanhuang. As long as he arrived at the galaxy where planet Yanhuang was located, it would not be difficult for him to find planet Yanhuang. It's not that simple, Tang Xiaoxiao shook her head and said. As far as I know, with the passage of time, fewer and fewer people pay attention to planet Yanhuang. Unless you can obtain the star map of the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located, it'll be difficult for you to find the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located, even if you teleport to a nearby galaxy. Star map? Duan Lingtian was stunned. This was the first time he had heard of this term. After Tang Xiaoxiao explained, he learned that a star map was a star map. After all, a star map was similar to a map. As long as he got the star map of a star area, he would have a clear direction in that star area. He wouldn't be confused and disoriented. Then, do you have a way to obtain the star map? Duan Lingtian's breathing quickened as he looked at Tang Xiaoxiao. After all, as long as he obtained the star map of the galaxy where planet Yanhuang was located, he would be able to find the galaxy where planet Yanhuang was located and return to planet Yanhuang. At that time, he would have achieved his goal of coming to Yanhuang realm. Currently, the star map of the star region around the galaxy, where planet Yanhuang is located, is considered a rare item in Yanhuang realm. Tang Xiaoxiao said. Swoosh. Duan Lingtian's expression changed when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. Based on Tang Xiaoxiao's words, it seemed like it would be difficult for him to obtain the star map. What are you doing? Tang Xiaoxiao could not help but laugh when she saw the change in Duan Lingtian's expression. However, her face was blocked so he could not see her smile. I said the star map is rare, but I didn't say I don't know where to find it. My ancestor has a hobby of collecting all kinds of star maps. As far as I know, he has the star map of the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located. Tang Xiaoxiao said. Upon hearing Tang Xiaoxiao's words, Duan Lingtian glared at her. Why didn't you say so earlier? You're too impatient. Tang Xiaoxiao continued to say with a smile. All right, let's return to the Tang sex estate. I'll take you to see the ancestor. However, whether or not you'll be able to obtain the star atlas from the ancestor will depend on your own ability. Isn't he your ancestor? Can't you just ask him for it? Duan Lingtian said with a frown. It's not that simple. Tang Xiaoxiao shook her head and said. My ancestor has a strange temper. Usually, he'll give it to me if I ask him for it. However, he cherishes the star atlases in his possession as much as his life. Even I find it difficult to borrow the star atlases from him. Take me to him first. Duan Lingtian could tell from Tang Xiaoxiao's words that her ancestor was difficult to deal with. However, no matter how difficult it was, he had to meet her ancestor. Chapter 25:10. All right. Tang Xiaoxiao waved her hand and removed the veil on her face, attracting Duan Lingtian's attention. Along the way, Tang Xiaoxiao was dressed in black, and her face was covered by a black veil. She had never revealed her true appearance. However, she took the initiative to remove the black veil on her face. It did not cross Duan Lingtian's mind that Tang Xiaoxiao's face was peerless under the black veil. Her eyebrows were as beautiful as a painting, her nose was straight, her eyes were big and watery, and her lips were pink and delicate. Most importantly, when Tang Xiaoxiao looked at him with a smile, two shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks. Duan Lingtian was in a daze when he saw her. Duan Lingtian had seen many beautiful women in the past. Amongst them, his two wives Ku Er Li Fei and his close female friend Feng Tianwu were the best amongst them. However, Tang Xiaoxiao was not inferior to Ke, Li Fei, and Feng Tianwu. It was to the extent that because she was a different type of beauty from Kuer Li Fei and Feng Tianwu, it gave her a different feeling. Everyone had a love for beauty. Duan Lingtian was no exception. However, after being stunned for a moment, Duan Lingtian withdrew his gaze, and his heart was like a rock, standing firm and unmoved. What's wrong? Did I scare you because I'm too ugly? Tang Xiaoxiao asked teasingly when she saw Duan Lingtian, regaining his senses after a brief moment. In the depths of her eyes, there was a hint of mockery mixed in. If you're considered ugly, how are most of the women in this world going to live? Duan Lingtian smiled wryly. I didn't know you were so good with words. Tang Xiaoxiao looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully and said, I'm sure you have many women around you, right? However, Duan Lingtian's smile froze when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. Then he clenched his fists tightly. An invisible murderous aura emanated from his body, sending chills down Tang Xiaoxiao's spine. Did I say something wrong? The smile on Tang Xiaoxiao's face disappeared when she saw that Duan Lingtian seemed to have changed into a different person. So did her beautiful dimples. Now when she looked at Duan Lingtian again, she was a little nervous. I'm fine. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's panicked words. At the same time, he withdrew the murderous aura from his body. When Tang Xiaoxiao mentioned the women around him, he thought of Ke, Li Fei, and Feng Tianwu. At the same time, he thought about the plight of the three women, and the culprit, Yin Qingyan. For a moment he lost control of his emotions. Although Duan Lingtian had returned to normal, Tang Xiaoxiao no longer dared to joke around. At the same time she was confused. She did not know why Duan Lingtian had suddenly lost his composure. It seems like he does have many women around him. However, why did he lose his composure when I mentioned the women around him? Tang Xiaoxiao could not figure it out. When I first saw you, you had an unapproachable aura. At that time, I thought you were a cold beauty. I didn't expect you to be so lively under the black veil. After calming down, Duan Lingtian noticed the atmosphere was a little strange, so he quickly changed the topic. Lively? Tang Xiaoxiao was stunned when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. At this moment, she realized something was amiss. She had unknowingly removed her disguise in front of Duan Lingtian. It had to be known that normally, she would only completely remove her disguise in front of her family's ancestor like this. The reason why she disguised herself was to protect herself better. Xiaoxiao. Tang Xiaoxiao was still in a daze when a loud voice rang from afar. A group of 3 people was flying toward the interstellar transportation formation. In just a blink of an eye, they arrived in front of Tang Xiaoxiao and Duan Lingtian. The group of 3 people was led by a young man dressed in embroidered robes. A middle-aged man, and an old man followed behind him. The voice belonged to the young man dressed in embroidered robes. Swoosh! At this moment, Duan Lingtian discovered Tang Xiaoxiao's expression had changed. The smile on Tang Xiaoxiao's face disappeared the moment she heard the young man's voice. It was replaced by a cold expression that seemed to be covered with a layer of frost that kept people away from her. It seemed as though the temperature in the surroundings had dropped by a few degrees. Xiaoxiao, who's he? The young man dressed in embroidered robes' expression changed drastically when he saw Duan Lingtian standing next to Tang Xiaoxiao. This was his first time seeing Tang Xiaoxiao so close to a man. Most importantly, the young man dressed in embroidered robes was a stranger. This man was still a new face to him. He was certain the young man was not from Tang sect. Even if the young man was from Tang sect, he must be an ordinary disciple. Otherwise he would have recognized the young man. At this moment, Duan Lingtian discovered Tang Xiaoxiao was staring at him. Not only was the young man dressed in embroidered robes looking at Tang Xiaoxiao, but he was also staring at Tang Xiaoxiao, as though he was warning Tang Xiaoxiao about something. Whoosh! Before Duan Lingtian could react, Tang Xiaoxiao had already moved closer to Duan Lingtian. She even leaned against Duan Lingtian's side. At the same time, Duan Lingtian discovered Tang Xiaoxiao was not only moving closer to him, but she was also holding his arm affectionately. He's my man. Tang Xiaoxiao looked at the young man dressed in embroidered robes and said calmly. Swoosh! When the young man dressed in embroidered robes saw Tang Xiaoxiao moving closer to Duan Lingtian and holding Duan Lingtian's arm, his expression changed immediately. His expression changed again when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. Duan Lingtian could not help but frown at this moment. Was Tang Xiaoxiao using him as a shield? Duan Lingtian was familiar with this scene. In his past life, when he was still on Earth, he liked to read online novels in his spare time. Among them, there were quite a number of online novels where women used men as shields to reject their suitors. However, the plot in those novels in his past life was actually happening to him. For this reason, Duan Lingtian felt like he was being used. He could not help but frown. However, in the end, he didn't expose Tang Xiaoxiao. Is he one of your pursuers? Duan Lingtian asked through voice transmission, even though he did not expose Tang Xiaoxiao. No, Tang Xiaoxiao replied. Tang Xiaoxiao's answer shocked him again. Could it be that he guessed wrong? The young man dressed in embroidered robes was not one of Tang Xiaoxiao's pursuers? Tang Xiaoxiao. The young man dressed in embroidered robes did not pay any attention to Duan Lingtian at this moment. He completely ignored Duan Lingtian as he stared at Tang Xiaoxiao and said in a deep voice, "Don't forget that you're engaged to Brother Yu Ting. Moreover, the sect leader has already made an agreement with Brother Yu Ting's father. When you come out of the Beyond Heaven secret zone, they'll hold a grand engagement ceremony for you." The young man dressed in embroidered robes looked at Tang Xiaoxiao warningly when he finished speaking. Engagement ceremony? Tang Xiaoxiao's expression changed immediately when she heard the young man dressed in embroidered robes' words. She asked coldly, "Why didn't I know about this?" The sect leader and Brother Yu Ting's father made an agreement after you entered the Beyond Heaven secret zone. The young man dressed in embroidered robes said. After he finished speaking, he looked at Duan Lingtian and said coldly, "Boy, do you know who the woman next to you is? Not only is she the strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect, but she's also the fiancée of the young mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. If you don't want to die, you'd better get away from her. Otherwise, not only will the Tang sect not let you go, but the Heavenly Wave Mansion will also make sure you die a graveless death." The young man dressed in embroidered robes said threateningly when he reached the end of his sentence. "As it turns out, you're not Xiao Zhao's pursuer." Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he heard the young man's threat. He said indifferently, "I thought based on your reaction when you saw me with Xiao Xiao, you must be Xiao Zhao's pursuer. I didn't expect you're just a dog of Xiao Zhao's pursuer." While the young man was threatening Duan Lingtian also learned the general situation from Tang Xiaoxiao's voice transmission. The Skywave Prefecture was a powerful force that was comparable to the Celestial Master sect. Yang Yuting, the young mansion master of Skywave Prefecture, had met Tang Xiaoxiao a few years ago. He was amazed by her beauty and had pursued her, but Tang Xiaoxiao had ignored him. Later, Yang Yuting could only turn to his father, the mansion master of Skywave Mansion, for help. That was how the mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion came to propose a marriage. Naturally, Tang Xiaoxiao was unwilling to accept the marriage proposal from the mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. Her ancestor, one of the 3 8 tribulation bodiless celestials of the Tang sect, also supported Tang Xiaoxiao. However, the other 2 8 tribulation bodiless celestials, who were the current sect leader and the supreme elder of the Tang sect, agreed to the marriage proposal of the mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. In their opinion, this marriage was beneficial to the Tang sect, but not harmful to them. There were no 9 tribulation bodiless celestials in the Tang sect, so all the decisions were made by the 3 8 tribulation bodiless celestials. For this reason, even if Tang Xiaoxiao's ancestor disagreed, there was nothing he could do. As the supreme elder of Tang sect, one of the pillars of the Tang sect, he could not fall out with the other 2 pillars of the Tang sect for the sake of a descendant of the Tang sect. He liked this descendant of the Tang sect very much. Chapter 25:11. What did you say? The young man's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He glared at Duan Lingtian furiously. "You, how dare you call me a dog?" "Good, very good. This is the first time in my life that I, Tang Jinbao, have been humiliated like this. The young man, Tang Jinbao, glared at Duan Lingtian with a dark expression before he ordered the two men behind him. What are you waiting for? I want this brat dead. I want him dead. Yes, young master. As soon as Tang Jinbao finished speaking, the middle-aged man and the old man behind him replied in unison. Tang Xiaoxiao's expression darkened again when the two men were about to make a move. She said coldly, "He's my man. If you dare to make a move, I'll make sure you die a graveless death. You should know I have the ability to do so." Whoosh! Whoosh! The middle-aged man and the old man's expressions changed when they heard Tang Xiaoxiao's threat. At the same time, they quickly withdrew their energy. If the woman in front of them insisted on killing them, they would not be able to live. After all, the woman in front of them was not only the strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect, but she was also the favorite descendant of one of the supreme elders in Tang sect. Perhaps she was not a match for them, but as long as she spoke, the supreme elder would not let them go. Even if their master was the favorite descendant of one of the supreme elders, he would not necessarily fall out with one of the supreme elders for them. If you don't make a move, I'll make sure you die. If you make a move, I'll protect both of you and arrange for both of you to leave this place. Tang Jinbao could tell the two men behind him were afraid of Tang Xiaoxiao's threat. He could not help but threaten them sternly when he saw the hesitation in the two men behind him. These two men were his men after all. However, now that they were threatened by Tang Xiaoxiao, they did not dare to make a move. This was no different from a slap to his face. How could he tolerate this? Whoosh! Whoosh! The middle-aged man and the old man's expressions changed again when they heard Tang Jinbao's threat. In the end, they could only brace themselves and make a move. Either way, he would die. If they listened to their master's orders, they might be able to escape from the Tang sect and save their lives. You hold her back. I'll go kill that gigolo. After the old man said to the middle-aged man, his eyes immediately locked onto Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he flew out and attacked Duan Lingtian. Miss Xiaoxiao, please excuse me. The middle-aged man nodded and fixed his eyes on Tang Xiaoxiao. At the same time, he dashed toward Tang Xiaoxiao, intending to distract Tang Xiaoxiao so that his companions could kill the man beside Tang Xiaoxiao. 2-4 Tribulation Bodiless Celestials? As soon as the old man and the middle-aged man made their moves, Duan Lingtian could tell they were 4 Tribulation Bodiless Celestials based on their auras. You're courting death. Tang Xiaoxiao's expression darkened when she saw the two people behind Tang Jinbao dare to make a move. She raised her hand and a dagger appeared in her hand. Wang! 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 As Tang Xiaoxiao infused her energy into the dagger, it began to emit sharp rays of light that seemed to be able to pierce through anything. At the same time, it exuded a terrifying aura. Tang Xiaoxiao made her move. Her first target was not the middle-aged man, but the old man who was charging toward Duan Lingtian. Although the old man was a 4 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial, his strength was comparable to a 5 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial, since he was completely focused on Duan Lingtian, and was unaware that Tang Xiaoxiao had obtained a Celestial Supreme Treasure. For this reason, as soon as he arrived near Duan Lingtian, and was about to attack Duan Lingtian, Tang Xiaoxiao's dagger was already in front of him. Oh no! By the time the old man reacted, and his expression changed drastically, it was already too late. Moreover, Tang Xiaoxiao's attack was comparable to a 5 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial. Even if Tang Xiaoxiao's attack was only comparable to a 4 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial, he would still be able to retreat in a wretched manner. However, Tang Xiaoxiao's attack was comparable to a 5 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial. An attack comparable to that of a 5th Tribulation Scattered Immortal whistled out. Caught off guard, he had no time to react. Slash! Tang Xiaoxiao's dagger pierced the old man's glabella, as though it was a rubber ball, killing him instantly. A 4 Tribulation Bodiless Celestial had died in just a blink of an eye. Humph! Tang Xiaoxiao's eyes turned cold again after she killed the old man. She raised her hand and threw the dagger out with a mysterious technique. Swoosh! Swoosh! The dagger pierced through the air, heading straight for the middle-aged man who was charging towards her. In fact, when the middle-aged man saw Tang Xiaoxiao kill his companion in the blink of an eye, his heart was in turmoil, and his expression changed drastically. He couldn't understand why Tang Xiaoxiao killed his companion. How could this woman, whose strength was at most on par with theirs, unleash such a powerful attack? Immortal supreme treasure. When Tang Xiaoxiao threw the dagger at him in a mysterious way, he finally found the problem. The dagger that was flying toward him was clearly not an ordinary weapon, but a celestial supreme treasure. Pucci. The moment the middle-aged man discovered that Tang Xiaoxiao's dagger was a celestial supreme treasure, the dagger had already pierced through his glabella. The dagger went in from the front of his head and came out from the back of his head. He was killed instantly, following in the footsteps of his companions. In the blink of an eye, 2 fourth tribulation loose celestials were killed. Tang Xiaoxiao's celestial technique. Not only can it be used in close combat, but it can also be used as a hidden weapon. Just now, Duan Lingtian could also see that Tang Xiaoxiao's attacks were usually at the level of a 5 tribulation bodiless celestial. It did not matter if it was a close-range attack or a long-distance hidden weapon attack. You obtained a celestial supreme treasure. Tang Zhenbao finally regained his senses when the dagger returned to Tang Xiaoxiao's hand. His face paled, but his eyes flashed with greed when he looked at the dagger in Tang Xiaoxiao's hand. Let's go. Tang Xiaoxiao glanced at Tang Zhenbao coldly before she prepared to leave with Duan Lingtian. If it's inconvenient for you to kill him, I'll do it. However, Duan Lingtian did not move at all in the face of Tang Xiaoxiao's concern. His eyes were trained on Tang Zhenbao. Killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. Since Tang Zhenbao dared to order someone to kill him, he would have to pay with his life. At this moment, he thought Tang Xiaoxiao was inconvenient to kill Tang Zhenbao. I know you really want to kill him, and he deserves to die. However, if you kill him, my ancestor won't be able to lend you the star map. Although Tang Zhenbao isn't his direct descendant, he's still a member of Tang sect. If you kill him, my ancestor will view you as an enemy as well. Tang Xiaoxiao said to Duan Lingtian. I'll give you face. Duan Lingtian frowned slightly when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. However, he nodded in the end. However, you can avoid death, but you can't escape punishment. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Duan Lingtian charged out like a ghost. Whoosh! Duan Lingtian appeared next to Tang Zhenbao in just a blink of an eye. His hands moved so fast that they were like shadows. He broke Tang Zhenbao's arms and legs and suppressed Tang Zhenbao's strength, so that he could not use his own strength to relieve the pain. Under such circumstances, Tang Zhenbao unsurprisingly let out a scream like a pig being slaughtered. Tang Zhenbao's cultivation base was only at the 9th form of the Saint Celestial stage. He was as weak as an ant in front of Duan Lingtian. It would be easy for Duan Lingtian to torture Tang Zhenbao. Let's go. Duan Lingtian ignored Tang Zhenbao's murderous gaze and bade farewell to Tang Xiaoxiao. Then, he left with Tang Xiaoxiao to look for Tang Xiaoxiao's ancestor to borrow the star map. With his current strength, he could easily kill Tang Zhenbao and become an enemy of Tang sect. He could forcefully snatch the star map from Tang Xiaoxiao's ancestor and escape unscathed. However, since Tang Xiaoxiao was a good person and had helped him in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, he could not bring himself to kill Tang Xiaoxiao's ancestor. I don't care who you are. I want you dead. I want you dead. When Tang Zhenbao saw Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao's silhouettes, he glared at Duan Lingtian's silhouette and roared furiously. He was so angry that his eyes looked as though they were about to pop out of their sockets. Meanwhile, I'm confident I'll be able to borrow the star map from my ancestor, but you have to promise me one thing. Tang Xiaoxiao looked at Duan Lingtian after a moment of silence. Tell me. Duan Lingtian replied. Although he felt that Tang Xiaoxiao's condition was reasonable, he still felt slightly uncomfortable. At the same time, he felt like the distance between them had widened. After all, to a certain extent, he had treated Tang Xiaoxiao as a friend. After you borrow the star map, you have to bring me out of this galaxy. Tang Xiaoxiao stated her condition. That's it. Initially, Duan Lingtian thought Tang Xiaoxiao would take advantage of the situation to ask for the celestial supreme treasure in his possession. However, at this moment, he realized he had underestimated Tang Xiaoxiao. He had gauged the heart of a gentleman with his own mean measure. To him, Tang Xiaoxiao's condition was nothing. It was as easy as lifting a finger. Chapter 25:12. That's it. Tang Xiaoxiao nodded. From the beginning until the end, she did not notice Duan Lingtian's strange behavior at all. Duan Lingtian. Tang Xiaoxiao seemed to have thought of something as she said apologetically, I only said that you're my man in front of Tang Jinbao earlier, because I wanted to put on a show in front of him. I hope you won't blame me for being rude. It's fine. Duan Lingtian shook his head. I just find it strange. Since he's not your pursuer, there's no need for you to put on an act in front of him, right? He has a good relationship with Yang Yuting, the young mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. I only wanted to tell Yang Yuting that I have a man so he would give up. Tang Xiaoxiao paused for a moment before she said with a wry smile on her face. However, I didn't expect the sect leader and the mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion would hold an engagement ceremony for me and Yang Yuting when I came out of the Beyond Heaven secret zone. So you're saying, the act you put on with me before was for nothing? Duan Lingtian asked. Something like that. Tang Xiaoxiao nodded. A hint of determination flashed in her eyes as she said, however, I won't be engaged to Yang Yuting over my dead body. You seem to dislike Yang Yuting. Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow and said, the Heavenly Wave Mansion is a force on par with the Celestial Master's sect. They even have a 9-tribulation bodiless celestial. Otherwise, the Tang sect wouldn't be interested in forming a marriage alliance with them. As the young mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion, he has a high status. Why do you dislike him so much? Duan Lingtian asked. Because that Yang Yuting is a complete hedonistic son of rich parents. Tang Xiaoxiao said with a disgusted expression. I feel disgusted just thinking about what he has done, let alone saying it out loud. Let's not talk about him anymore. After a while, she turned to Duan Lingtian and said, let's go and ask the old ancestor for the star chart, and leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, the sect leader and the others will stop me when they realize what's going on. If I'm not wrong, that Tang Jinbao must have already gone to look for his ancestor. Tang Xiaoxiao's voice became urgent as she spoke. You want me to take you away to avoid this marriage? Moreover, are you worried that the 8-tribulation bodiless celestial behind Tang Jinbao and the sect leader of Tang sect will stop you? At this moment, Duan Lingtian had also realized this. Yes. Tang Xiaoxiao nodded. Actually, if you really don't want to agree to this marriage, I can help you. The Heavenly Wave Mansion only has one 9-tribulation bodiless celestial. Duan Lingtian said calmly. He might be able to fight the 9th tribulation bodiless celestial of Skywave Prefecture to a draw. However, he believed that Skywave Prefecture wouldn't dare to disrespect him, as long as he asked for Tang Xiaoxiao. After all, in Yanhuang Realm, he was just a lone cultivator with no ties. The Heavenly Wave Prefecture would not dare to offend someone like him. As the saying went, a barefooted man is not afraid of a man with shoes. He could easily avoid the 9th tribulation bodiless celestial from the Heavenly Wave Prefecture and attack the others from the Heavenly Wave Prefecture. I know your strength is comparable to a 9-tribulation bodiless celestial, so I thought about asking you for help. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Tang Xiaoxiao sighed and said, however, the 9-tribulation bodiless celestial from the Heavenly Wave Prefecture is not an ordinary bodiless celestial. He's a bodiless celestial who has mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique. If he doesn't use his soul attack, you'll be able to fight to a draw at most. However, if he uses his soul attack, how can the soul of an eminent celestial withstand his soul attack? Tang Xiaoxiao voiced out her concerns. She had long thought about Duan Lingtian's words. It would be fine if Duan Lingtian was a 9-tribulation bodiless celestial. Even if the 9-tribulation bodiless celestial from the Heavenly Wave Prefecture had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique, Duan Lingtian would not be afraid. However, there was a problem. Duan Lingtian was only an eminent celestial. Perhaps, Duan Lingtian's strength was comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial due to his various techniques, but his soul was only at the level of an eminent celestial, let alone a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial who had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique. Even a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial would be able to injure Duan Lingtian's soul. A 9 tribulation bodiless celestial who has mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique? Duan Lingtian gasped when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. In the mundane realm, the people he feared the most were bodiless celestials who had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique. Previously, when he was still in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, he was forced to hide in a heaven-ranked treasure vault by a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial who had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique. At that time, he was already strong enough to kill a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial and even an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. However, since the 4 tribulation bodiless celestial had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique, Duan Lingtian had no choice but to hide in a heaven-ranked treasure vault until Chun Yiru appeared and killed the 4 tribulation bodiless celestial. Even a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial who had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique was able to force him into a corner. How could a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial who had mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique be able to escape? Are you sure? The 9 tribulation bodiless celestial from the Heavenly Wave Mansion has mastered the soul congregation embodiment technique? Duan Lingtian asked solemnly. Yes. Tang Xiaoxiao nodded. If that's the case, there's nothing I can do. Duan Lingtian sighed and said, let's go. Bring me to your ancestor. The Tang sect was located in a galaxy called the Thousand Opportunities Galaxy. Duan Lingtian was currently on planet Shu Tang, the mother planet of the Thousand Opportunities Galaxy. The Tang sect's inner court was located on planet Shu Tang. Tang Xiaoxiao's ancestor, one of the 2 supreme elders of Tang sect, usually lived in the Tang sect's inner court. As the strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect, Tang Xiaoxiao's face was like a pass to the Tang sect's inner court. For this reason, Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao were able to travel freely in the Tang sect's inner court. In a vast mansion, Duan Lingtian met the old ancestor of Tang Xiaoxiao's branch. The old ancestor was a kind-looking but shrewd old man. Ancestor. As soon as Tang Xiaoxiao landed in the front yard of the mansion, she sat at the stone table opposite the old man who was drinking tea. Girl, it's one thing for you to be rude, but now, you're acting so presumptuously in front of an outsider. You're becoming more and more unruly. The old man shook his head helplessly as he looked at Duan Lingtian. Then he looked at Tang Xiaoxiao and shook his head helplessly. Although the old man seemed helpless, a hint of affection could be seen in the depths of his eyes. Ancestor, he's my friend. He's not an outsider. Tang Xiaoxiao smiled before she beckoned to Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, come and have a seat. This is my ancestor. He's one of the 2 supreme elders of Tang sect, Tang Zhongyi. Greetings, senior. Duan Lingtian nodded at Tang Zhongyi before he sat down next to Tang Xiaoxiao. He did not restrain himself at all. He did not feel awkward in such a situation. Although the old man was strong, he was only an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. Tang Zhongyi frowned when he saw Duan Lingtian acting as casually as Tang Xiaoxiao. A hint of displeasure could be seen in his eyes. It was one thing for Tang Xiaoxiao to act casually in front of him. After all, Tang Xiaoxiao was the most outstanding disciple of the younger generation, and he doted on her dearly. He was confident that he could do whatever he wanted to her. However, how could this purple-clad young man act so casually? As soon as Duan Lingtian appeared, Tang Zhongyi had probed Duan Lingtian's cultivation base with his divine consciousness. He knew Duan Lingtian was only an eminent celestial. Girl, how was your trip to the Beyond Heaven secret zone this time? Although Tang Zhongyi was displeased with Duan Lingtian, he did not show it on his face. He merely looked at Duan Lingtian and shifted his attention back to Tang Xiaoxiao. Forefather, look at this. Tang Xiaoxiao raised her hand and placed the dagger she had obtained in the Beyond Heaven secret zone on the stone table. Then, she looked at Tang Zhongyi with a smile. This is... Tang Zhongyi picked up the dagger and looked at it. His eyes widened in shock as he exclaimed, "A celestial supreme treasure! You obtained a celestial supreme treasure. Good, good, good." When Tang Zhongyi returned the dagger to Tang Xiaoxiao, he couldn't help but chuckle. It was as though he was happier that Tang Xiaoxiao had obtained a celestial supreme treasure than him. "Girl, your strength is comparable to a 5 tribulation bodiless celestial now that you've obtained a celestial supreme treasure." Tang Zhongyi found Tang Xiaoxiao pleasing to the eye. She was indeed the pride of the Tang clan, and the strongest person among the younger generation in Tang sect. What a pity! How good would it be if Xiaoxiao was a man? Naturally, Tang Zhongyi did not voice his thoughts out loud. "Old ancestor, the sect leader said that he wants to hold an engagement ceremony for me. Do you know about it?" Tang Xiaoxiao asked with a solemn expression on her face. "I know." Tang Zhongyi nodded and sighed. "Girl, before you returned, I've already made up my mind. If you're unwilling to marry Yang Yuting, I'll send you away. At that time, you can cultivate somewhere else, and wait for the celestial ascension force to ascend to a Devata realm." Forefather, Tang Xiaoxiao's heart skipped a beat as tears welled up in her eyes. "Since you've just returned, I don't think sect leader and the others have heard about this yet. It's not too late for me to send you away now." Tang Zhongyi rose to his feet as he spoke. Haha. As soon as Tang Zhongyi rose to his feet, a loud laughter rang from outside. "Xiao, I heard you obtained a celestial supreme treasure in the Beyond Heaven secret zone? Sect leader." Chapter 25:13. Although Tang Zhongyi was one of the 2 supreme elders of Tang sect, and one of the 3 strongest 8 tribulation bodiless celestials in Tang sect, if the other 2 8 tribulation bodiless celestials made the same decision, it would be difficult for him to change their minds. There was a rule in Tang sect that the minority had to obey the majority. Naturally, this rule only applied to high-ranking officials of Tang sect. If Tang Zhongyi was a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial instead of an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial, the other 2 8 tribulation bodiless celestials, the sect leader of Tang sect and the supreme elder, would not dare to object to his decision. Tang Zhongyi would have the final say. Unfortunately, he was not a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial, so he could not object to Tang Xiaoxiao's decision. After all, this decision was beneficial to Tang sect. Tang Zhongyi had devoted most of his life to the Tang sect, and this time, he wanted to send Tang Xiaoxiao away for personal gain. However, at this moment, the sect leader of Tang sect had arrived. How did the sect leader get here so quickly? Tang Zhongyi's expression changed drastically as he looked at Tang Xiaoxiao, with an unwilling expression on his face. If the sect leader of Tang sect was still unaware of Tang Xiaoxiao's return, he could have sent her away. However, now that the sect leader of Tang sect knew Tang Xiaoxiao had returned, he had personally come to look for her. At this moment, it was almost impossible for him to send Tang Xiaoxiao away. He could barely stop the sect leader of Tang sect. However, the supreme elder of Tang sect was on the sect leader of Tang sect's side. The supreme elder's strength was not inferior to his. Perhaps it's because I killed Tang Jinbao's men. Tang Xiaoxiao frowned slightly when she heard the sect leader of Tang sect's words. However, her expression remained unchanged. At the same time, she looked at Tang Zhongyi and said through voice transmission, "Old ancestor, I remember hearing you say you have a star chart that covers the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located. Now I hope you can lend me that star chart." Star chart? Tang Zhongyi was still upset that he didn't have a chance to send Tang Xiaoxiao away. Hearing Tang Xiaoxiao's voice, he was stunned. When he finally came back to his senses, he couldn't help but ask, "Little girl, what do you want the star chart for?" "Old ancestor, I'm very touched that you said you would send me away before the sect leader knows that I'm back. However, now that the sect leader is here, I'm afraid you won't be able to send me away. However, if I want to leave now, there's still a chance. That chance is to obtain the star chart of the star region that encompasses the galaxy, where the flaming yellow star is located. As long as I get the star map, I'll be able to leave the Tang sect," Tang Xiaoxiao said. You'll be able to leave the Tang sect once you get the star map. Upon hearing Tang Xiaoxiao's words, Tang Zhongyi was stunned for a moment before he asked again, "Why?" "Ancestor, don't ask anymore, because you'll know very soon. Now you'd better give me the star map as soon as possible. Sect leader will be here soon," Tang Xiaoxiao urged. Although Tang Zhongyi was still very confused when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's anxious tone, he still handed the star chart of the star region that encompassed the galaxy where the flaming yellow star was located to Tang Xiaoxiao. "Little girl, why are you still playing games with me at this time? Tell me now." After Tang Zhongyi handed the star chart to Tang Xiaoxiao and watched her put it away, he could not help but ask again through voice transmission, "What's the matter?" Just as Tang Xiaoxiao was about to reply to Tang Zhongyi through voice transmission, whoosh! A gust of wind blew past, and a figure appeared in front of the stone table where Duan Lingtian and the others were sitting. What appeared before Duan Lingtian's eyes was a middle-aged man, wearing a silver robe with golden edges. The middle-aged man had a medium build and a square face. His long hair was tied up in a ponytail, and he had a dignified look on his face. Clearly, he had been in a high position for a long time. "He's the sect leader of Tang sect, Tang Chong?" Before arriving at the Tang sect's estate, Duan Lingtian had learned from Tang Xiaoxiao that the sect leader of Tang sect was Tang Chong. He also learned that the sect leader of Tang sect was one of the 3 tribulation bodiless celestials in Tang sect. Tang Chong's eyes were trained on Tang Xiaoxiao when he arrived. "Lord sect leader." Tang Xiaoxiao stood up and bowed respectfully when she saw Tang Chong. She nodded and said, "I've indeed obtained a celestial supreme treasure in the Beyond Heaven secret zone." "Congratulations." Tang Chong congratulated Tang Xiaoxiao with a smile on his face. After Tang Xiaoxiao thanked him, he turned to Tang Zhongyi and said, "Elder Yi, your descendants are really amazing. Not only are they talented, but they're also blessed with great opportunities." "You flatter me, sect leader," Tang Zhongyi replied humbly. However, as soon as Tang Zhongyi finished speaking, Tang Chong turned to look at Duan Lingtian, who was still sitting in front of the stone table. His calm gaze turned sharp immediately. His gaze was as sharp as a sword as he stared at Duan Lingtian. However, Duan Lingtian remained unmoved. It was so much so that when faced with Tang Chong's sharp and blade-like gaze, not only did he have a calm and collected expression, he even unhurriedly extended his hand to grab a teacup for himself and began to pour tea for himself. From the beginning until the end, he completely ignored Tang Chong. "Xiaoxiao, I heard you say he's your man?" Tang Chong asked in a deep voice as he stared at Duan Lingtian coldly. Swoosh! As soon as Tang Chong's words left his mouth, Tang Zhongyi's expression changed. He turned to Tang Xiaoxiao in disbelief. He was shocked by Tang Chong's words. Yes, Tang Xiaoxiao did not expect the sect leader of Tang sect would ask her this question as soon as he appeared. However, she braced herself and answered. It seemed like she had no choice but to follow through with her plan. Swoosh! Swoosh! Not only did Tang Chong's expression change drastically upon hearing Tang Xiaoxiao's admission, but even Tang Zhongyi's expression changed drastically. "Xiaoxiao, don't forget you're engaged." Tang Chong looked at Tang Xiaoxiao and said in a deep voice. "Moreover, I've already discussed this with the person from Heavenly Wave Mansion. After you come out of the Beyond Heaven secret zone, we'll hold an engagement ceremony for you and Yang Yuting, the young mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. What's going on now that you've brought back a brat like him?" Tang Chong's voice turned deeper and deeper when he reached the end of his sentence. "Sect leader," Tang Xiaoxiao said indifferently, "I don't want to marry Yang Yuting. I already have someone in my heart." As soon as Tang Xiaoxiao finished speaking, she turned to look at Duan Lingtian. As soon as Tang Xiaoxiao finished speaking, a thunderous voice rang in the air. A voice filled with ruthlessness seemed to come from all directions and reverberated in his ears like thunder. "Sect leader, why are you wasting your breath on this girl? If it were up to me, we should just kill this brat." Along with this voice, a tall and sturdy old man appeared. His face was full of white curly beard, and when paired with his messy white hair, he looked like a white lion. However, as soon as the old man appeared, he turned to look at Duan Lingtian. His eyes were filled with ruthless killing intent. Are you the one who broke my descendant Tang Jinbao's arms and legs and humiliated him? After a few moments, the old man walked up to the stone table and stared at Duan Ling Tian coldly as he asked in a questioning tone. Tang Hong. When the old man mentioned Tang Jinbao, Duan Ling Tian had already guessed the old man's identity. The other supreme elder of Tang sect, Tang Hong. Tang Jinbao was Tang Hong's descendant. Tang Xiaoxiao had mentioned Tang Hong to Duan Ling Tian on their way to the Tang sect's inner estate. In the Tang sect there was Tang Hong, the sect leader of the Tang sect, Tang Chong, and another supreme elder Tang Zhongyi. He was also an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial. Although Duan Ling Tian knew the old man was an 8 tribulation bodiless celestial, he remained calm as he sipped his tea. It was as though he was completely immersed in the art of tea. Ancestor, it's him. Kill him and avenge me. Another voice sounded, followed by the arrival of a figure who had arrived late. This person was none other than Tang Jinbao, whose arms and legs were broken by Duan Ling Tian earlier. However, Tang Jinbao's arms and legs that were twisted had already healed, and he appeared by Tang Hong's side in high spirits as he stretched out his hand to point at Duan Ling Tian. He had an embarrassed and resentful expression as he gnashed his teeth. It was as though he wanted to tear Duan Ling Tian into a million pieces. It seems like the lesson earlier wasn't enough for you. Xiao, I've already given you face earlier. This time I'm sorry. The moment Duan Ling Tian's words left his mouth, before Tang Hong and the others could even react, Duan Ling Tian's expression changed. As Duan Ling Tian raised his hand, a sword appeared in his hand like a bolt of lightning. Whoosh! As soon as the sword appeared, it whistled through the air. It was the imperial sword technique. Duan Ling Tian's sword-wielding technique was so fast that Tang Hong and the others could not react in time. However, just as Duan Ling Tian's sword was about to reach Tang Jinbao's glabella, it suddenly stopped. Whoosh! A large hand that seemed to be able to blot out the sky and cover the sun seemed to have the help of the gods as it blocked Duan Ling Tian's sword and grabbed it tightly. A celestial supreme treasure? The person who grabbed Duan Ling Tian's sword was none other than Tang Hong, the supreme elder of Tang sect. As soon as he grabbed the sword, he discovered it was a celestial sword. His eyes lit up immediately like 2 bright stars in the night sky. A celestial supreme treasure. Chapter 25:14. Brat, I didn't expect you to have a celestial supreme treasure. Tang Hong, the supreme elder of Tang sect, reluctantly looked away from the celestial sword in his hand. His eyes shone with greed as he looked at Duan Ling Tian. However, I want your celestial supreme treasure now. Based on his words, it was clear he wanted to take Duan Ling Tian's celestial sword for himself. How dare a mere 8 tribulation bodiless celestial say he wants to take my celestial sword? Duan Ling Tian sneered when he heard Tang Hong's words. Immediately after, the power that he had been accumulating all over his body also soared at the first moment, quickly turning into a turbulent whirlpool. In just a blink of an eye, the heaven and earth spirit energy in the surroundings was completely absorbed by him. An assist-type divine ability. What a powerful assist-type divine ability. The 3 8 tribulation bodiless celestials from Tang sect were shocked by Duan Ling Tian's assist-type divine ability, the elementary devouring tactic. With just a thought, another sword appeared in Duan Ling Tian's hand. Energy surged out of the sword, emitting a terrifying aura. Another celestial sword. Duan Ling Tian has 2 celestial supreme treasures? Moreover, both of them are celestial swords? Who is he? Tang Chong, the sect leader of Tang sect, and Tang Zhongyi, the supreme elder of Tang sect, were shocked by the second celestial supreme treasure in Duan Ling Tian's hand. One had to know that even the Tang sect only had 3 immortal supreme treasures. Even if Tang Xiaoxiao obtained the celestial supreme treasure in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, Tang sect only had 4 celestial supreme treasures. However, Duan Ling Tian, an eminent celestial, had 2 celestial supreme treasures in just a blink of an eye. How could they not be shocked? Another celestial supreme treasure. Tang Jinbao's eyes lit up as he stared at the second immortal sword in Duan Ling Tian's hand. The flames of greed in his eyes rose like a prairie fire that could not be stopped. On the other hand, the supreme elder of Tang's sect, Tang Hong, who had declared his intention to snatch Duan Lingtian's celestial sword away, the greed in his eyes was extinguished in just a blink of an eye when he saw Duan Lingtian taking out the second celestial supreme treasure. "Who are you?" When Tang Hong looked at Duan Lingtian again, there was a hint of dread in his eyes. For an eminent celestial to possess a celestial supreme treasure, it could be said that he had obtained it by luck in the Beyond Heaven secret zone. However, it was impossible for an eminent celestial to obtain two celestial supreme treasures at the same time in the Beyond Heaven secret zone. After all, there were many powerhouses in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, including 8 tribulation bodiless celestials and 9 tribulation bodiless celestials. For an eminent celestial to be able to obtain a celestial supreme treasure under the watchful eyes of those powerhouses was already considered extremely lucky. The chances of obtaining 2 celestial supreme treasures were extremely slim. In fact, it could be said that it was almost impossible. Apart from the fortuitous encounter in the Beyond Heaven secret zone, for an eminent celestial to possess 2 celestial supreme treasures, he had to have an extraordinary background. For this reason, when Tang Hong speculated that Duan Lingtian had an extraordinary background, fear rose in his heart. "The person who's going to kill you." However, Duan Lingtian completely ignored Tang Hong's question. He only replied with a single sentence, "Don't worry about it." As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the celestial sword in his hand began to revolve around him at an increasing speed. In just a blink of an eye, tens of thousands of sword rays appeared above his head. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. The sound of sword whistling rang in the air as the sword formation above Duan Lingtian's head began to take shape. After the sword formation took shape, the surrounding space shook violently as a mysterious energy wave swept out in all directions. In just a blink of an eye, it shrouded everyone present on the scene. Swoosh. Tang Hong's face went grim because he noticed that the immortal sword he'd grabbed had actually struggled free of his restraints in an instant, and it had even injured his hand from the impact. Then, he saw the celestial sword in his hand. After the celestial sword broke free, it was attracted by the sword formation above Duan Lingtian's head and became a part of the sword formation. When he saw this scene and recalled Duan Lingtian's words, an ominous premonition faintly arose in his heart. Humph! As Duan Lingtian snorted coldly, the sword formation above his head seemed to have come alive in just a blink of an eye. Subsequently, he whistled out like a wisp of smoke, and his target was Tang Hong. Swoosh! 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 The sword formation whistled out like a rain of swords, leaving behind hideous cracks in space. They were like huge black pythons that constantly wriggled their bodies. Boom! Faced with the menacing sword formation, Tang Hong felt that he might not be able to withstand the power contained within it. However, he knew that he had no other choice but to block the menacing sword formation. A loud explosion rang in the air as Tang Hong's energy surged like flames. "Please show mercy." At this moment, whether it was Tang Chong, the sect leader of Tang's sect, or Tang Zhongyi, the other supreme elder of Tang's sect, both of them immediately regained their senses. Horror dawned on them as they hastily stopped Duan Lingtian. Boom! Boom! Naturally, they did not only speak to stop Duan Lingtian. At the same time, their energy skyrocketed as well. However, when their energy surged out, and they were about to help Tang Hong, Duan Lingtian's sword formation collided with Tang Hong's celestial supreme treasure, the 7-inch flying dagger. At this moment of life and death, Tang Hong did not hold back at all. He gathered all his strength in the flying dagger. Tang Hong's attack was not any weaker than the full force attack of an ordinary 9 tribulation bodiless celestial, without using a celestial supreme treasure. Whoosh! 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 Numerous sword howls tore through the sky, and it was Duan Lingtian's sword formation that directly made the 7-inch flying dagger switch sides when it was still a distance away from it, causing the full force strike that Tang Hong had exerted all his effort to execute to instantly vanish into nothingness. For this reason, Duan Lingtian's attack was not nullified at all. Before Tang Hong could unleash a second wave of attack, the attack had completely engulfed him. Tang Hong's eyes were wide open, and an expression of disbelief could be seen on his face at the moment of his death. Perhaps, it was only at the moment of his death that he realized. Using a celestial supreme treasure in front of Duan Lingtian was equivalent to courting death. Old ancestor! Tang Zhenbao cried out in grief. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper. Although he did not see what had happened with his cultivation base, he could clearly see that the old ancestor of the celestial supreme treasure had disappeared. At this moment, the old ancestor's aura was completely gone. In that case, there was only one possibility. His old ancestor was dead. Whoosh! Whoosh! Tang Chong and Tang Zhongyi's expressions changed. They did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so powerful. In just a blink of an eye, he had killed Tang Hong. It was too late for them to lend a helping hand. Of course, after witnessing Duan Lingtian's strength, they knew very well that they did not have the time to react. Even if they had made a move earlier, and even if they had joined forces with Tang Hong, they would not have been a match for Duan Lingtian. The celestial method he used completely overpowers the celestial supreme treasure. He snatched the celestial supreme treasure away from us. If the three of us used our celestial supreme treasures, it would be equivalent to us not making a move at all. However, if the three of us did not use our celestial supreme treasures, it would be impossible for us to block his attack. The attack of his sword formation is no weaker than the full force attack of an ordinary 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. Whether it was Tang Chong or Tang Zhongyi, both of them knew their limits. For this reason, when they looked at Duan Lingtian again, there was only dread in their eyes. Whoosh! 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 After the sword formation annihilated and killed Tang Hong, it continued to howl towards Tang Zhenbao without slowing down in the slightest. Before Tang Zhenbao could even react, it had exterminated him. At the same time, Duan Lingtian finally stopped attacking. After putting away his 2 celestial swords, he held Tang Hong's celestial supreme treasure in his hand. Xiao Xiao. After greeting Tang Xiao Xiao, Duan Lingtian threw the celestial supreme treasure in his hand to Tang Xiao Xiao. He did not covet the celestial supreme treasure at all. After all, even if he kept the celestial supreme treasure, no one would dare to say anything about it. Tang Xiao Xiao hesitated when she caught the celestial supreme treasure. After all, it was Duan Lingtian's spoils of war. There was nothing wrong with Duan Lingtian keeping the celestial supreme treasure. Give it to the sect leader of Tang sect. You fought for this celestial supreme treasure for Tang sect. Now that Tang Hong is dead, he has no reason to force you to marry the young mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. Even if he wants to force you to marry him, he'll have to ask your ancestor for permission. Duan Lingtian said to Tang Xiao Xiao through voice transmission. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Tang Xiao Xiao finally understood Duan Lingtian's good intentions. She smiled gratefully at Duan Lingtian before she handed the celestial supreme treasure in her hand to Tang Chong, the sect leader of Tang sect. Tang Chong's expression changed when he received the celestial supreme treasure. His emotions were complicated. I really didn't expect. Xiao Xiao, the little guy you brought back is so powerful. Tang Zhongyi finally regained his senses. He looked at Tang Xiao Xiao before he turned to look at Duan Lingtian. He could not help but heave a long sigh. At this moment, the resentment he had for Duan Lingtian was completely gone. He knew Duan Lingtian had the confidence to act so casually in front of him. Xiao Xiao, is he really your man? Tang Zhongyi could not help but ask in the end. No. At this moment, Tang Xiao Xiao realized that there was no need for her to lie, because she was no longer in danger to a certain extent. What a pity! What a pity! Chapter 25:15. Tang Zhongyi was not the only one who was disappointed. Even the sect leader of Tang sect, Tang Chong, was slightly disappointed. When they saw Duan Lingtian's strength was comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial, They could not help but feel excited when they thought about Duan Lingtian was Tang Xiaoxiao's man. This meant that the Tang sect had established a relationship with someone whose strength was comparable to a nine-tribulation bodiless celestial. In their opinion, for this expert, he didn't mind offending the Skywave Prefecture. Now that they knew that Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao didn't have that kind of relationship, they were disappointed. Ancestor, what are you talking about? Tang Xiaoxiao couldn't help but blush when she heard Tang Zhongyi's disappointed sigh. She was so shy that she looked like a young girl who was about to get married. Girl, since Elder Hong is already dead, you should stay behind. Tang Zhongyi said. Without Tang Hong, with his status in the Tang sect, Tang Xiaoxiao could not marry into the Skywave Prefecture. Moreover, he also believed that, after this battle, whether it was because of Tang Hong's death, or because he had witnessed the strength of Tang Xiaoxiao's friend, the sect leader of the Tang sect would not force Tang Xiaoxiao to marry into the Skywave Prefecture. Ancestor, I still want to go out for a walk, Tang Xiaoxiao replied. Before I ascend to the Devata realm, I want to spend some time in the mundane realm to relax. Up to you. Hearing Tang Xiaoxiao's words, Tang Zhongyi nodded. But before you ascend, try to come back and see me. I will. Tang Xiaoxiao nodded. Let's go. At this time, Duan Lingtian called Tang Xiaoxiao and prepared to leave. He thought Tang Xiaoxiao wouldn't have to leave with him after he killed Tang Hong. To his surprise, Tang Xiaoxiao decided to leave. Yes. Tang Xiaoxiao acknowledged Duan Lingtian's words and left with him. The star map that Xiaoxiao asked me for should be what this Duan Lingtian wants as well. Looking at the backs of Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian, Tang Zhongyi faintly guessed this point. Xiaoxiao must have reached an agreement with this Duan Lingtian. She will help him get the star map of the star field, that includes the star system, where the flaming yellow star is located. And he will take her away from the Tang sect. The reason why Tang Zhongyi was able to guess this was because he had witnessed Duan Lingtian's strength. Elder Yi. At this moment, Tang Chong, the sect leader of Tang sect, put away the celestial supreme treasure that belonged to Tang Hong that Tang Xiaoxiao had given him. He smiled wryly at Tang Zhongyi and said, Let's think of a way to deal with the mansion master of Heavenly Wave Mansion. Although the Skywave Mansion won't completely fall out with the Tang sect, it'll be a disgrace to the Skywave Mansion if we break the engagement. Even if they don't declare war on the Tang sect, I'm afraid they won't let this matter rest. The wry smile on Tang Chong's face deepened when he finished speaking. Upon hearing Tang Chong's words, Tang Zhongyi realized the seriousness of the matter. His expression turned solemn immediately. Meanwhile, let's go to the star system near the star system, where the flaming yellow star is located first. Tang Xiaoxiao unfolded the star map that she had obtained from Tang Zhongyi and pointed at a star system near the interstellar transportation formation as she spoke to Duan Lingtian. This star system is the closest star system to the star system, where the flaming yellow star is located. The star systems around the star system, where the flaming yellow star is located, are relatively backward and don't have any interstellar transportation formations. We can only travel to the star system, where the flaming yellow star is located, and head to the star system, where the flaming yellow star is located. Tang Xiaoxiao continued. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded. Let's do as you say. I'll follow you. Following that, Duan Lingtian followed Tang Xiaoxiao through dozens of interstellar transportation formations before they finally arrived at their destination. It was the closest interstellar transportation formation to the star system, where the flaming yellow star was located. The interstellar transportation formation was located in a star system called the Kost star system. The Kost star system is a star system ruled by technology. The star system we're currently on is the mother planet of the Kost star system, planet Satel. Tang Xiaoxiao explained to Duan Lingtian before they even left the interstellar transportation formation, after arriving at the Kost star system's mother planet, planet Satel. Of course, all that I know is from the star map. In the past, I've never heard of the location of this star system. After all, this star system is too far away from the Thousand Opportunities star system, where the Tang sect is located. Tang Xiaoxiao said. The flaming yellow realm is too big. It's not something our Saint Province realm can compare to. Duan Lingtian could not help but sigh. Of course, Tang Xiaoxiao said. Your Saint Province realm is just a small mundane realm. Our Yanhuang realm is a large mundane realm. In fact, when you ascend to a Devata realm, you'll know what it means to be big. There are a total of 81 Devata realms, and each Devata realm is larger than our Yanhuang realm. Naturally, large mundane realms like our Yanhuang realm are also the closest to Devata realms. After all, the Devata realms also have a boundless starry sky with countless planets, galaxies, and stellar regions. Tang Xiaoxiao continued to explain. Devata realms. Upon hearing Tang Xiaoxiao's words, Duan Lingtian was filled with yearning for the Devata realms. He felt like a country bumpkin who had just entered a city when he came to the Yanhuang realm from the Saint Province realm. However, based on Tang Xiaoxiao's words, it seemed like the Devata realms were even bigger than the Yanhuang realm. Let's go. What we need to do now is to leave planet Satel and the Kos galaxy. We'll travel to the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located. After Tang Xiaoxiao led Duan Lingtian out of the interstellar transportation formation, she took out a star chart and spread it out. According to the markings on the star chart, we still have to pass through 3 galaxies to reach the galaxy where planet Yanhuang is located after leaving the Kos galaxy. With your speed, we should be able to reach planet Yanhuang in 3 months if you bring me along. Of course, that's only if you use all your skills and travel at full speed. Tang Xiaoxiao looked at Duan Lingtian as she said, I've taken into account that your speed is comparable to a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. If your speed is slower than a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial, it'll take you longer. So far. Duan Lingtian was shocked when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. It would take a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial 3 months to travel to the galaxy where planet Yanhuang was located, even though he was a 9 tribulation bodiless celestial. If they were in the Saint Province realm, this speed would only take a few days. They would be able to travel to the Debussy subterranean and the upper province in just a few days. A large mundane realm is so much bigger than a small mundane realm. Duan Lingtian could not help but click his tongue when he thought of this. Top quality. Top quality. Duan Lingtian was about to bring Tang Xiaoxiao along when a frivolous voice rang in the air. The voice was getting closer and closer to them. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes and saw 3 men dressed in suits. 3 young men dressed in suits similar to the suits on Earth were leering at Tang Xiaoxiao, who was standing next to him. Each of them stepped on something similar to a skateboard and flew toward them at an extremely fast speed. Of course, the 3 young men were not using ordinary skateboards. Duan Lingtian extended his divine sense and integrated it into the skateboards of the 3 young men. He immediately probed the internal structure of the skateboards. When he discovered the densely packed capacitors and wires inside, Duan Lingtian felt his scalp go numb. The technology here has actually reached such a level? Duan Lingtian remembered very clearly. In his previous life, when he was still on Earth, even the structure of the most complex technological products on Earth was far less complicated than this. It was not even 1/10,000th of the structure of the skateboards under the feet of the 3 young men in front of him. Beep, beep, beep. While Duan Lingtian was shocked by the structure of the skateboards under the feet of the 3 young men, a red light flashed on the skateboards under the feet of the 3 young men, and a series of alarms sounded. The skateboards under their feet are commonly seen in galaxies ruled by technology. Humans in galaxies ruled by technology rely on skateboards to fly. Tang Xiaoxiao seemed to have noticed the shock on Duan Lingtian's face. She explained to Duan Lingtian, earlier, you must have probed the skateboards under their feet with your divine sense, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have sounded alarms. Yes, Duan Lingtian nodded. At this moment, the depths of Duan Lingtian's heart were filled with shock. Although he had long known that technology and cultivation coexisted in large mundane realms, he could not help but feel shocked when he saw the advanced technology in a large mundane realm. After all, although the technology on Earth in his previous life had advanced to a certain level, It was still inferior to the technology on Earth. However, compared to the technology in front of him, it was far behind. If the technology on Earth developed normally, I'm afraid it would take at least 10,000 years for it to reach this level. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Boy, how dare a cultivator like you act so presumptuously in our Kos galaxy. I think you don't want to live anymore. One of the young men standing on a skateboard glared at Duan Lingtian fiercely as he shouted in a deep voice. Kill this male cultivator, and capture this female cultivator. Come to think of it, I haven't played with a female cultivator for a few years now. Chapter 25:16. With just the three of you? Duan Lingtian sneered disdainfully as he glanced at the young man, who was looking at Tang Xiaoxiao lecherously. Earlier, when he extended his divine consciousness, he had already figured out the background of the three young men in front of him at the first moment. These three young men were only stronger than ordinary people in terms of physique and physical strength. There was no energy in their bodies at all. In Duan Lingtian's eyes, the three of them were no different from ordinary people. You want to capture me? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Tang Xiaoxiao sneered as she looked at the three young men. She did not take them seriously at all. It seems like these two cultivators are very confident in themselves. The last young man who had remained silent all this while narrowed his eyes when he saw the disdain and mockery on Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao's faces. A cruel and cold smile appeared on his face. Among the three young men, this young man had the strongest physique. In fact, he was 3 times stronger than the other two. Even so, in Duan Lingtian's eyes, this young man was no different from the other two young men. Haha, the first young man laughed. Boss Knox, according to the old rules, you'll hold the line for the two of us. If the two of us can't do it, you'll take over. The boss Knox he spoke of was none other than the young man with the strongest physique, who had spoken earlier. Almost as soon as the young man finished speaking, an illusion suddenly appeared on the surface of his and the other young man's bodies. In the blink of an eye, the illusion solidified again. In just a blink of an eye, the two young men who were originally 1.8 meters tall had grown to 3 meters tall. At this moment, the two of them were completely immersed in a special metal that had distinct edges and was as smooth as a mirror. It looked extremely flexible. It looked like a mecha from the sci-fi movies on Earth in Duan Lingtian's previous life. The ones in the movies were fictional, but the ones in front of him were real. Mecha? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow. He did not expect the mecha from the sci-fi movies in his previous life would actually exist. Isn't your Saint Domain a small mundane plane? Don't tell me you guys have this mecha too? Tang Xiaoxiao was slightly surprised when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. But, I thought small mundane realms don't have planets, galaxies and stellar regions like ours? It's really called mecha? Duan Lingtian was stunned by Tang Xiaoxiao's words. He didn't expect the thing in front of him to actually be called a mecha. Could it be that in my previous life on Earth, a person with a mecha from a highly advanced galaxy had once come to this world? Otherwise, how could there be such a thing as mecha on Earth? Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian could not help but make such a guess. Duan Lingtian did not believe that the word mecha was made up by the people on Earth after learning that there really was a mecha in this galaxy ruled by technology. Although the world was big, it was impossible for there to be such a coincidence, right? Just then, a square lens embedded in the left eye of one of the mecha suddenly flashed. Then, he said to the young man who had not transformed into a mecha, Boss Knox, it seems like you don't have to do anything. These two cultivators are not even 100 years old. That's right. 2 cultivators under 100 years old are nothing to worry about. The other young man who had transformed into a mecha said. Of course, their transformation into mecha was completely done through technological means. They can detect our age? Duan Lingtian glanced at Tang Xiaoxiao in surprise. It's normal. Tang Xiaoxiao did not seem surprised at all. The mechas they transformed into have detection abilities. Don't be fooled by the fact that they only have a lens in their left eye. It's not an ordinary lens. The structure inside it is beyond your imagination. Duan Lingtian nodded. He had already detected this with his divine consciousness. Not more than 100 years old, the young man who was addressed as Boss Knox by the two young men who had transformed into mechas laughed. His eyes were filled with disdain when he looked at Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao again. He had a very good understanding of cultivators. It was difficult for cultivators below the age of 100 to enter the Saint Celestial stage. In the several dozens of galaxies around the Cos galaxy, there were only a handful of people below the age of 100 who had a cultivation base at the Saint Celestial stage or above, but they were still extremely rare. His two companions' strength was comparable to a powerhouse at the third form of the Saint Celestial stage after they had transformed into mechas. Therefore, in his opinion, it was impossible for the man and woman before him to be at the Saint Celestial stage or above. Even if they were at the first, second, or third form of the Saint Celestial stage at most. In fact, there were only a handful of cultivators below the age of 100 who were at the fourth form of the Saint Celestial stage or above in the dozens of galaxies around the Cos galaxy. He did not think he would be so unlucky as to encounter cultivators at that level. Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao were unaware of Nox's thoughts. Otherwise, they would have laughed out loud. Fourth form of the Saint Celestial stage? After all, both of their cultivation bases were above the ninth form of the Saint Celestial stage. They were eminent celestials after all. Most importantly, they were not ordinary eminent celestials. Duan Lingtian's strength was comparable to a 9-tribulation bodiless celestial. Tang Xiaoxiao's strength was comparable to a 5-tribulation bodiless celestial, even though she was not as strong as Duan Lingtian. However, Nox actually thought they had not broken through to the fourth form of the Saint Celestial stage. Naturally, Nox could not be blamed for thinking so. This was because none of the dozens of galaxies near the Cos galaxy were ruled by cultivators, and none of them had been unified by any force. This was because the forces in those galaxies were small and unknown forces in the Yin Huang plane. The reason there were only a few small forces in those galaxies was because there were no cultivation resources in those galaxies. In those dozens of galaxies, there were no cultivation resources. In other words, the powerful forces did not care about the cultivation resources in those galaxies at all. Forces like the Tang sect and the Celestial Master sect didn't care about the cultivation resources in those dozens of galaxies, so they disdained to take root there. Even forces that were much weaker than the Tang sect and the Celestial Masters sect did not care about the cultivation resources in those galaxies. In ordinary small forces, those who were below the age of 100 who had broken through to the fourth form of the Saint Celestial stage or above were considered rare geniuses. On top of that, the Cos galaxy, which was completely ruled by technology, was located in a remote area. Usually, the cultivators who came here were people from the dozens of galaxies around it. For this reason, Nox thought Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao were from those galaxies as well. If he had known Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao were from the Tianji galaxy, which was ruled by the Tang sect, he would not have dared to underestimate them. Since these two are not even 100 years old, you should be able to crush them with your strength. Nox looked at Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao disdainfully before he said to the two young men operating the mechas, "Kill the man and leave the woman alive." When he reached the end of his sentence, a look of unbridled lust could be seen in the depths of his eyes. Kill. Almost as soon as Nox finished speaking, the mechas operated by the two young men immediately moved again. Ka, 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 ka. Although the two mechas looked clumsy, they were very agile when they moved. One of the mechas extended its right arm, and a fine steel blade appeared in its hand. It gleamed coldly, as though it could cut through anything. The other mecha extended its left arm, and a black hole appeared at the end of its left arm. A white light flashed from the hole, and it grew brighter and brighter. In the end, it looked as though it was about to burst out of the hole. Whoosh! In just a blink of an eye, the first mecha charged toward Duan Lingtian like a bolt of lightning. The blade in its hand was pointed at Duan Lingtian's chest. The reason why his speed was so fast was because there was a pushing force behind him, This pushing force came from the 3 vacuum recoil devices behind him, which emitted vacuum cannons to propel him forward at an extremely fast speed. This speed, it's comparable to a powerhouse at the 4th form of the Saint Celestial stage. Although the speed of the mecha was like a snail in Duan Lingtian's eyes, he was still shocked. The speed of this mecha was comparable to a powerhouse at the 4th form of the Saint Celestial stage. Duan Lingtian was still in shock over the speed of the mecha that was charging toward him. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang, a white beam of light shot out from the muzzle of the other mecha's left arm, which was filled with white light. It was a laser cannon. That's a laser cannon? Its power is comparable to a powerhouse at the 4th form of the Saint Celestial stage. A hint of surprise could be seen in Duan Lingtian's eyes as he raised an eyebrow. Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao remained motionless in the face of the attacks from the 2 mechas. It was as though they had completely ignored the attacks from the 2 mechas. Chapter 25:17. There's no reaction at all. It seems like these 2 cultivators haven't even broken through to the Saint Celestial stage. How boring. These were the thoughts of the 2 young men who were controlling the 2 mechas. They were in their mechas. While their faces were filled with hostility, their eyes could not help but reveal waves of disappointment. They were disappointed by Duan Lingtian and the other young man's strength. After all, even a cultivator at the 1st form of the Saint Celestial stage would not be so passive when faced with their attacks. How weak! Nak, who was standing nearby, sneered disdainfully when he saw this. A hint of disdain could be seen in his eyes. However, in the next moment, the sneer on his face froze. How's this possible? 2 cries of alarm rang out. They were the voices of the 2 young men operating the 2 mechas. At this moment, one of the mechas had already arrived in front of Duan Lingtian. Moreover, the fine steel blade in his hand had already pierced towards Duan Lingtian's chest. With the might of his sharp blade, even if it was a thick and heavy steel plate, it would be easily pierced through. However, at this moment, his blade was only a foot away from Duan Lingtian's chest, but it could not move any further. It was as if it had been forcefully stopped by an invisible force. Boom! 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 At the same time, the laser cannon shot out by the other mecha continued to hit the air a foot away from Duan Lingtian. A series of explosions rang in the air. However, the continuous explosions did not even affect Duan Lingtian, who was more than a foot away at all. How's this possible? You want to kill me with the attack of a powerhouse at the 4th form of the Saint Celestial stage? Don't you think you've underestimated me? When Duan Lingtian heard the exclamations from the 2 young men operating the mechas, he grinned. His smile was very bright. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian's purple robe swayed slightly. Even when the 2 young men piloted their mechas and attacked Duan Lingtian with the full force of a cultivator at the 4th form of the Saint Celestial stage, they did not even cause Duan Lingtian's robe to sway. At this moment, Duan Lingtian's robe moved slightly. Retreat! Run! The 2 young men operating the mechas exchanged glances with each other before activating the vacuum recoil system in front of them. They wanted to fire their vacuum cannons and use the recoil force to quickly escape the scene. However, could they escape? Trying to escape? Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. Then, with a flash of his body, he appeared unhurriedly in front of the mecha holding the sharp blade in his hand. With a punch, he directly punched through the mecha. Then, with a shake of his arm, the mecha was shattered into pieces. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian reached into the mecha and grabbed the young man who was piloting the mecha. After grabbing the young man, Duan Lingtian continued to fly at a leisurely pace. Naturally, in Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao's opinion, Duan Lingtian's speed was neither fast nor slow. However, in the eyes of the 3 young men, Duan Lingtian's speed was terrifyingly fast. Although Duan Lingtian did not use any techniques and merely moved his body casually, the 3 young men were not slow at all. In the eyes of the 3 young men, Duan Lingtian's speed was not inferior to a cultivator at the 5th or 6th form of the Saint Celestial stage. Whoosh! At the same time, the vacuum recoil system in front of the other mecha was activated, and the vacuum cannon shot out to help him retreat. Whoosh! Duan Ling Tian's figure was like a ghost as he appeared beside the mecha that was trying to retreat. His right hand was like a dragon as it whistled out, causing the mecha to follow in its companion's footsteps. Following that, Duan Ling Tian grabbed the two young men as well. Duan Ling Tian held the two young men in his hands as though he was an eagle holding two chicks. Do you really think you can kill me with this little bit of strength? Duan Ling Tian sneered as he looked at Nox, who was standing in the distance. At the same time, he exerted force in his hands and snapped the necks of the two young men, killing them instantly. The two young men were ordinary people with strong bodies. They died instantly when their necks were snapped. Are you Tong Jinxiang or Wu Baifeng? Seeing his two companions die in the hands of the purple-clothed young man in front of him, Nox's face immediately turned gloomy as he asked in a deep voice. Tong Jinxiang and Wu Baifeng. These two people were well-known figures in the dozens of galaxies around the Cos Galaxy. They were famous not because of their strength, but because of their innate talent. They were the only two male cultivators who had broken through to the 5th and 6th form of the Saint Celestial stage, below the age of 100 in the dozens of galaxies around the Cos Galaxy. For this reason, Nox instinctively assumed Duan Ling Tian was one of them. Tong Jinxiang? Wu Baifeng? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them. Duan Ling Tian replied nonchalantly when he heard Nox's question. You're not them? Then you. Nox's expression changed as he asked in a deep voice, you're not a cultivator from the galaxies around the Cos Galaxy? Of course not. Duan Ling Tian glanced at Nox meaningfully. Do I remember? Earlier you asked them to kill me? When Duan Ling Tian reached the end of his sentence, his eyes shone with killing intent. Sir, although I ordered them to kill you, you've killed them to vent your anger. Why don't we just let this slide? After witnessing Duan Ling Tian's strength, and realizing how strong Duan Ling Tian's innate talent was, Nox did not plan to continue fighting with him. He was not confident he could kill Duan Ling Tian. Even if he could kill Duan Ling Tian, he would still be wary. Who knew if there was a powerful force behind this talented cultivator? It would be fine if that force was not as strong as his clan. If he was stronger than the family behind him, it would definitely bring disaster to his family. It was even possible that his family would be exterminated because of this. There were many similar cases in the Yanhuang Plain. I'm sorry. Duan Ling Tian shook his head when he heard Nox's words. Put aside the fact that I'm not used to letting people who want to kill me live. I'm afraid even my friend doesn't want you to live. Sometimes, a person has to pay the price for his words. Duan Ling Tian's tone was calm, but Nox's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words. There's no need to waste your breath on him. As soon as Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, Tang Xiaoxiao stepped into the air at a speed that was neither fast nor slow. Similarly, she did not cast any technique, but her speed was so fast that Nox could not react in time. When Nox regained his senses, she was already in front of him. Swoosh! Nox's expression changed drastically as he cried out. You can't kill me. I'm from the Garnier clan. Human. As soon as Nox finished speaking, Tang Xiaoxiao's hand shot out at lightning speed and left a rivet between Nox's eyebrows. This rivet was the most common hidden weapon Tang Xiaoxiao carried with her. She had tens of thousands of them in her spatial ring. Therefore, this rivet was nailed into Nox's forehead. After killing Nox, she didn't even take it off because it wasn't anything rare to begin with. The Garnier clan? I've never heard of them. Tang Xiaoxiao's expression was terrifyingly calm as she watched Nox's body fall from the sky. She was not affected by what had just happened. She looked at Duan Ling Tian and said with a faint smile, Let's go. All right. Duan Ling Tian nodded. Duan Ling Tian and Tang Xiaoxiao left as though nothing had happened. Duan Ling Tian did not bring Tang Xiaoxiao along with him. Both of them flew toward the boundless starry sky at a leisurely pace. Don't the people in a galaxy ruled by technology have any cultivation? The reason Duan Ling Tian did not bring Tang Xiaoxiao along was because he was confused and needed Tang Xiaoxiao's help to clear up his doubts. After all, there was no technology in the Saint Province realm. Although he was from Earth in his previous life, and there was technology on Earth. Compared to the technology he had just seen, the technology on Earth was like a baby who had just learned to speak. It could not be compared to the latter at all. Tang Xiaoxiao immediately responded to Duan Lingtian's question. Didn't you check their bodies when you probed them with your divine consciousness earlier? The structure of their bodies is very different from ours. Although they have meridians in their bodies, they're intermittent. Although cultivators who have reached a certain level of strength can perform meridian and marrow cleansing on people like them, allowing them to be reborn and be able to cultivate from then on. However, there are too many of them. It's unrealistic to cleanse their meridians and marrows for them. In this kind of situation, this kind of person is also starting to take a different path and develop technology. Don't underestimate their technology. The mechas we encountered earlier are nothing compared to the most advanced technology in Yanhuang realm. As Duan Lingtian listened to Tang Xiaoxiao's words, they left planet Satel in the Cos galaxy and entered the boundless starry sky. They traveled through space with their physical bodies. Meanwhile, on planet Saturn, in a huge modern city that was full of technology, there was a rapid breathing sound coming from the top floor of a tall building that looked like a pillar supporting the heavens. This was due to a projection that appeared in a spacious office on the top floor of the skyscraper. The image in the projection kept changing. If Duan Lingtian were here, he would have recognized the man and woman in the projection as him and Tang Xiaoxiao. Chapter 25:18. The Garnier family was one of the top forces in the Cos galaxy in terms of overall strength. There were only 2 other families in the Cos galaxy that could be compared to them. At this moment, at the top floor of the skyscraper commercial technology building under the Garnier family, the number 1 person in the Garnier family, the patriarch of the Garnier family doll, was staring at the scene of a young man being killed in the projection. The young man who was killed was called Knox. He was his only son. Although he had more than a dozen children, he only had one son who could inherit the family business. The rest were all daughters. And now, his only son was dead. He was killed by a female cultivator. Beep, 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 beep. Soon after, a series of ear-piercing alarms rang out from the high-tech watches on the hands of every important member of the Garnier family, causing their expressions to change. What's going on? Something must have happened since the patriarch summoned us. Let's go. Let's go. In the Garnier family's residence, all the important figures and high-ranking officials of the Garnier family were gathered in a modern and high-tech manner. It was worth mentioning that the Garnier family's mobilization of its members had frightened its 2 old rivals, the other 2 powerful families in the Cos galaxy that were not any weaker than the Garnier family. These 2 families had also gathered their high-ranking officials for a meeting. What's going on in the Garnier family? Have you found out? Don't tell me the Garnier family is trying to do something to us. That's why they're using this as an excuse to deceive us? That's possible. After all, this is not the first time the Garnier family has spread fake news. The high-ranking officials of the other 2 families could not help but discuss among themselves after they had gathered. The 2 families were wary of the Garnier family's high-ranking officials because they had gathered all the important figures and high-ranking officials of the Garnier family. In the Garnier family's huge and modern meeting room that was filled with technology, everyone's attention was focused on the huge projection at the end of the meeting room. It's Knox. Soon after, 3 people appeared on the projection. Everyone in the Garnier family knew one of them. It was the son of the patriarch of the Garnier family, the young master of the Garnier family. The following scene caused their expressions to turn ugly. A male cultivator first destroyed the mechas operated by the 2 companions of the young master of the Garnier family and killed them. Then another female cultivator killed the young master of the Garnier family. Provocation, provocation. This is undisguised provocation. How many years has it been? How many years has it been since the great Garnier family was provoked like this? In the long history of the Garnier family, every person or force that dares to challenge the Garnier family's bottom line has never had a good ending. They will not be an exception. The entire conference room was in an uproar. The higher-ups of the Garnier family were filled with righteous indignation. They could not wait to kill the two cultivators in the projection and tear them into pieces. To be honest, not many people cared about Nox's death. Some of them even rejoiced because Nox's death meant that their descendants would have the opportunity to become the next patriarch of the Garnier family. However, Nox's death humiliated the Garnier family and made them very angry. Silence. In the end, Dahl, the clan leader of the Garnier family, said loudly. Everyone in the conference room finally fell silent. After everyone had quieted down, he continued to say, I've gathered everyone here to deal with these two cultivators. They killed my son and brought shame to the Garnier family. Only their blood can wash away the shame of the Garnier family. Based on the projections, I can see their cultivation bases are at least at the 5th form of the Saint Celestial stage, or even higher. For this reason, I've gathered everyone here to discuss what kind of weapon we should use to kill them. Dahl said, I suggest we use the disaster-level battleship. An old man with a white beard said in a deep voice. Disaster-level battleship? Many people in the conference room could not help but gasp when they heard the old man's words. Grand Elder, is there really a need for that? Although these two cultivators are at the 5th form of the Saint Celestial stage, their strength is not even at the 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage. It doesn't seem necessary to mobilize the most powerful battleship in our family, just for these two people, right? A middle-aged man took the lead and said to the white-bearded old man. Many people nodded in agreement. In their opinion, their family's disaster-level battleship was capable of killing even loose immortals. It seemed like they were making a mountain out of a molehill for two cultivators, who were not even at the 7th form of the Saint Celestial stage. Great Elder, there's no need for that, right? Even Dar, the patriarch of the Garnier family, was shocked by the white-bearded old man's words. That is necessary, the white-bearded old man continued in a deep voice. It has been many years since someone dared to provoke our Garnier family. This time, someone came to provoke us, so we must deal with them without holding back. At the same time, let everyone in the Cos Galaxy see. Although our Garnier family has been dormant for many years, it's only a temporary slumber. Once we wake up, we'll be invincible tigers. The white-bearded old man's words were very clear. The reason why the disaster-level battleship was deployed was not only to kill the two cultivators, but also to establish its dominance. I agree with the Great Elder's suggestion. Soon, someone agreed with the white-bearded old man, the Grand Elder of the Garnier family. It's true that our Garnier family has been dormant for many years. It's time for us to show our might. For this reason, I agree as well. I agree. I agree. After a few moments, everyone in the meeting room, except for Dar, the patriarch of the Garnier family, expressed their support for the Great Elder's suggestion. Since everyone agrees, Dar ordered in a deep voice. In that case, the Garnier family will dispatch the disaster-level battleship to kill those two cultivators. Now all department heads listen to my orders. Satellite Intelligence Department. Immediately lock onto the location of the two cultivators. News and Public Relations Department. Immediately announce to the entire Cos star system that the Garnier family will be using the disaster-level battleship to seek revenge and wash away the shame of our family. Also, prepare to project the entire process of killing the two cultivators to every corner of the Cos Galaxy. Let everyone in the Cos Galaxy know that those who offend the Garnier family will not have a good ending. After Dar gave his orders, the department heads of the Garnier family's Satellite Intelligence Department and News and Public Relations Department immediately left to make the necessary arrangements. Great Elder, Dar looked at the white-bearded old man. Now, you and I will head to the preparation department together and authorize the deployment of the disaster-level battleship to kill the two cultivators to avenge my son and establish the might of the Garnier family. Dar's eyes were bloodshot from the beginning until the end. After all, the one who died was his son, his only son. Following the Garnier family's actions, not only did the Cos Galaxy's mother planet, Planet Satel, tremble, but all the planets in the Cos Galaxy trembled as well. Someone killed the young master of the Garnier family? Moreover, its 2 cultivators? Do they have a death wish? This is our territory, not the territory of those cultivators. I heard that the Garnier family is even preparing to deploy the disaster-level battleship to kill the 2 cultivators. The disaster-level battleship? Heavens! That's the most powerful weapon in the Cos galaxy. Only the 3 great clans, including the Garnier family, have it. The 3 great clans are able to stand at the top of the Cos galaxy because of the disaster-level battleship. They actually deployed the disaster-level battleship? Are the 2 cultivators bodiless celestials? Similar discussions spread across the planets in the Cos galaxy. Everyone knew that the Garnier family was furious. The Garnier family was furious. Planet Satel. On the mother planet of the Cos galaxy, the other 2 clans that were as famous as the Garnier family finally confirmed that the Garnier family was not the Garnier family. The Garnier family's actions were not directed at them. Nox, the young master of the Garnier family, was killed by 2 cultivators? Haha. This is great news. Dar, that old fellow, is probably flustered and exasperated right now, right? However, it seems like the 2 cultivators are not ordinary. Otherwise, the Garnier family wouldn't have deployed the disaster-level battleship. In another 15 minutes, the Garnier family will broadcast the scene of them killing the 2 cultivators to the entire galaxy. I can't wait to see it. Speaking of which, I haven't seen a disaster-level battleship in a long time. The disaster-level battleship. It's what our 3 great clans rely on to survive. It's because of the disaster-level battleship that our 3 great clans are able to stand at the top of the food chain in the Cos galaxy. While the other 2 families in the Cos galaxy that were as famous as the Garnier family were in a heated discussion, 15 minutes passed by quietly. Projections began to appear in every corner of the planets in the Cos galaxy. It's them? Chapter 2519. The projections were projected to every corner of the Cos galaxy. As long as there were people around, they would be able to see the projections. At this moment, everyone in the Cos galaxy stopped what they were doing and looked at the projections. A man and a woman appeared in front of them. The man was dressed in a long purple robe. His hair was tied up, and he had dashing eyebrows and bright eyes. He was handsome. Many women in the Cos galaxy screamed when they saw him. He's so handsome. How can there be such a handsome man among the cultivators? If I can have such a handsome boyfriend, I'd be willing to shorten my life by a few years. He's so handsome. In the Cos star system, regardless of whether it was a group of young ladies or young ladies, they were all shouting and yelling with infatuation. The purple-clad young man who appeared in the projections was none other than Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian's handsomeness was pure and natural. Coupled with his extraordinary cultivation base, it made him look otherworldly. It was only natural that he attracted a group of young women in the Cos galaxy. At the same time, Tang Xiaoxiao, who appeared in the projections with Duan Lingtian, appeared in front of the people in the Cos galaxy. What a beautiful woman! Beauty! Beauty! The women in the Cos galaxy were not the only ones who were amazed by Tang Xiaoxiao's beauty. The men in the Cos galaxy could not help but shout when they saw Tang Xiaoxiao in the projections. Although Tang Xiaoxiao was dressed in a loose black outfit, it couldn't hide her curvaceous figure. Coupled with her peerless beauty, it seemed as though everything around her paled in comparison when she appeared in the projections. A perfect match. What a perfect match. Many people in the Cos galaxy could not help but sigh when they saw Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao walking side by side in the projections. Naturally, most of the women looked at Tang Xiaoxiao with envy. They wished they were the ones walking side by side with Duan Lingtian instead of Tang Xiaoxiao. There were also many men who looked at Duan Lingtian with envy. Such a handsome guy and such a beautiful woman, but they're going to die soon. What a pity. That's right. Rumor has it that the Garnier family is even preparing to use the disaster-level battleship to kill them. A disaster-level battleship? Were they really that strong? To think that the Garnier family would mobilize a disaster-level battleship for them. In the entire Cos galaxy, Only the upper echelons of the Garnier family knew what was going on. The reason the Garnier family decided to use the disaster-level battleship to kill the two people in the projection was not because the two people were so powerful that they had to use the disaster-level battleship to deal with them. Instead, it was because they wanted to establish their dominance. The Garnier family had been silent for too long. Now that they finally had a chance to show off their might in front of everyone in the Cos Galaxy, they were naturally unwilling to miss this opportunity. I don't understand. Is it necessary for the Garnier family to use the disaster-level battleship against these two young cultivators? Many people from the other two families in the Cos Galaxy, who were equally famous as the Garnier family, voiced their doubts. Don't forget that powerful cultivators can rejuvenate themselves and retain their youthful looks. Look at their youthful appearances. Who knows if they're actually old monsters who have lived for thousands of years? That's right. Let alone cultivators. Even we can retain our youthful looks with the help of genetic drugs. Since the Garnier family is willing to use the disaster-level battleship, their strength must be extraordinary. In the end, the people from the two families still felt that the man and woman in the projection were not simple. Otherwise, the Garnier family would not have used the disaster-level battleship to deal with them. Meanwhile, Duan Lingtian, who had just left planet Satel in the Cos Galaxy, with Tang Xiaoxiao, suddenly came to a halt. He frowned slightly as though he had sensed something. What's wrong? Tang Xiaoxiao asked curiously as she came to a halt. I feel like there's something hiding in the dark staring at me, Duan Lingtian said. His instincts kept telling him that something was watching him from the dark, causing him to feel uneasy. Initially, he thought it was just his imagination. However, after a while, he realized something was not right. It was likely that he was not imagining things. You have the same feeling as well. Tang Xiaoxiao was stunned. In fact, she had the same feeling as well. However, when she saw Duan Lingtian did not react to it, she did not tell him about it. She thought she was imagining things. However, after listening to Duan Lingtian's words, she realized it was not her imagination. Something's coming. Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes and looked to the east as though he had sensed something. In the blink of an eye, his gaze shifted to other directions one after another. That thing seems to have surrounded us. What's that thing? Just as Tang Xiaoxiao was about to extend her divine sense to investigate, she saw something clearly. With the space where she and Duan Lingtian were standing as the center, gigantic birds were flying toward them from all directions. When she got closer, she realized that it wasn't a giant bird at all. Battleships. Tang Xiaoxiao narrowed her eyes as she looked at the battleships that were closing in on her, and Duan Lingtian, in just a blink of an eye. A cold gleam flashed in her eyes as she narrowed them. Battleships? Duan Lingtian regained his senses when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. As it turned out, the 18 giant ships floating in the air that surrounded him and Tang Xiaoxiao were the battleships mentioned in the sci-fi movies in his previous life. However, the battleships in front of him were different from the ones Duan Lingtian had seen in the sci-fi movies in his previous life. Each of these battleships was like a huge bird. Their size was comparable to the legendary Kuan Peng in his previous life. Their wings were like clouds that covered the sky. As soon as they appeared, they would cover the sky and bring darkness to the world. It seems like the person I killed, Nox, who claimed to be from the Garnier family, is not a simple person. Tang Xiaoxiao said. If I'm not mistaken, these battleships are disaster-level battleships. Disaster-level battleships? Duan Lingtian was stunned. Disaster-level battleships? There are different levels of battleships. Yes. Tang Xiaoxiao nodded before she patiently explained. The so-called disaster-level battleship is capable of unleashing an attack that is akin to a natural disaster. There might be a flash flood, a volcanic eruption, a violent storm, or an earthquake. Apart from that, disaster-level battleships can kill bodiless celestials. Duan Lingtian gasped when he heard Tang Xiaoxiao's words. Kill loose immortals? Was it this high-tech warship in front of him? Duan Lingtian naturally knew how strong itinerant immortals were. Even those unranked bodiless celestials who had not passed the first bodiless celestial tribulation, were comparable to powerhouses at the 8th form of the Saint Celestial stage. A 1 tribulation bodiless celestial was comparable to a powerhouse at the 9th form of the Saint Celestial stage, while a 2 tribulation bodiless celestial was comparable to an eminent celestial. A 3 tribulation bodiless celestial was even stronger than an eminent celestial, not to mention the even more powerful itinerant immortals. Of course, Duan Lingtian was also clear in his heart. Since Tang Xiaoxiao had said the disaster-level battleship was capable of killing bodiless celestials, it meant the bodiless celestials it could kill were not just bodiless celestials, who were first tribulation bodiless celestials, or second tribulation bodiless celestials. At the very least, it would be able to kill a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial, or even a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial. 18 disaster-level battleships? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow when he saw the 18 disaster-level battleships surrounding him and Tang Xiaoxiao. This is quite a big deal. Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao hovered in outer space. 18 disaster-level battleships that were as large as giants hovered around them, like moving fortresses. The moment he appeared in the projection and landed in the eyes of the people from Cursed, it gave them another wave of intense visual shock. All of the disaster-level battleships in the projection were tens of millions of times larger than Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao. They were like ants in front of any of the disaster-level battleships. However, at this moment, there were 18 disaster-level battleships surrounding them. There was no way for them to escape. Heavens! 18 disaster-level battleships! Who are these 2 cultivators? Many people in the Cos Galaxy cried out. At this moment, they felt their mouths go dry. The scene in the projection before them was simply too frightening. These are disaster-level battleships? Moreover, all of them are disaster-level battleships? Although the Garnier family said they would send out a disaster-level battleship to seek revenge, I thought they would only send out 1 disaster-level battleship. I didn't expect they would send out 18 disaster-level battleships. I heard the Garnier family has 13 disaster-level battleships. However, it seems like they've been hiding them. There are 18 disaster-level battleships in the projection. What I'm more curious about is, who exactly are these 2 cultivators? How powerful are they? To think that the Garnier family would send out 18 disaster-level battleships just because of them. Many people in the Cos Galaxy felt their scalps go numb when they saw the projection. In the projection, a purple-clad young man and a black-clad young woman stood in outer space. Around them 18 huge cold battleships floated there. All kinds of weapons silently extended and aimed at them. Chapter 2520. Where the disaster-level battleships of the Garnier family. Patriarch Dal of the Garnier family wishes to speak to you. When the 18 disaster-level battleships aimed their weapons at Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao, an emotionless voice rang out from the loudspeaker of one of the disaster-level battleships. It was as though a thunderclap had exploded in Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao's ears. It's really the Garnier family. Although Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao had already guessed the Garnier family had something to do with the 18 battleships, they did not expect the Garnier family to have something to do with them. Now that they heard the voice, they realized that their guess was right. I'm Dal, the patriarch of the Garnier family. When the voice entered Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiaoxiao's ears, they saw the projection of the disaster-level battleship. A projection appeared in front of the disaster-level battleship that had spoken earlier. A middle-aged man dressed in modern clothes could be seen glaring at them furiously. Based on the middle-aged man's background, one could see he was in a cabin. The middle-aged man was in the cabin of the disaster-level battleship. It has been a long time since anyone dared to provoke the Garnier family. You 2 cultivators have killed my son, and the young master of the Garnier family. This is tantamount to trampling on the dignity of the Garnier family. Today, the Garnier family swears to kill both of you as a warning to others. When he reached the end of his sentence, the middle-aged man's eyes were burning with rage, ready to burst out at any moment. It's the patriarch of the Garnier family, Dal. Based on Dal's words, it seems like he's not only trying to kill the 2 cultivators, but he's also trying to establish his dominance. The Garnier family has been silent for many years. Today, they're baring their fangs to remind everyone in the Cos galaxy that the Garnier family is still as powerful as ever. The Garnier family owns 18 disaster-level battleships. Even the other two families might not be a match for them in a one-on-one battle, right? In the Cos galaxy, many smart people could guess the reason the Garnier family made such a big fuss today when they saw the projection of the patriarch of the Garnier family doll. The Garnier family was trying to kill the chicken to warn the monkey. The death of the young master of the Garnier family was only the trigger. I didn't expect the Garnier family to own 18 disaster-level battleships. Even our family only has 15 disaster-level battleships. The Garnier family has hidden a lot of people. Fortunately, we didn't fall out with the Garnier family. If we really fought, our 16 disaster-level battleships wouldn't be a match for them. The other two families that were as famous as the Garnier family in the Coastal Galaxy could not remain calm after witnessing the strength of the Garnier family. These two cultivators are really unlucky. That's right. I'm afraid that the Garnier family has been looking for an opportunity to show their prowess since a long time ago. Killing the young master of the Garnier family is equivalent to walking right into the Garnier family's jaws. What a pitiful couple. 18 disaster-level battleships. I'm afraid they'll be blasted into smithereens. In the Coastal Galaxy, many people could not help but shake their heads when they saw the 18 disaster-level battleships surrounding the two figures that were as small as ants. Naturally, most of them were gloating over their misfortune. For these people, it had been a long time since something so exciting had happened in the Cos galaxy. Although the outcome of this battle was clear to them, at least they had seen 18 disaster-level battleships, so it was still very exciting for them. All disaster-level battleships of the Garnier family, listen up. Open fire. When the people in the Cos galaxy saw Dal, the patriarch of the Garnier family, was about to order the 18 disaster-level battleships to open fire on Duan Lingtian and Tang Xiao through the projection, they held their breaths. Before Dal, the patriarch of the Garnier family, could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by a snort. This cold snort seemed to contain magic. Once it was released, it caused the hearts of everyone watching the projection in the Coastal Galaxy to involuntarily tremble. Even Dal, the patriarch of the Garnier family, who was in one of the disaster-level battleships, felt a sharp pain in his eardrums when he heard the snort. He was in so much pain that he didn't even have time to finish his sentence after he was interrupted. The person who had snorted was none other than Duan Lingtian. At the same time, Duan Lingtian snorted coldly as his figure suddenly swayed. Whoosh! Duan Lingtian shot toward the disaster-level battleship at an extremely fast speed, as though he had transformed into a meteorite. All the projections in the Cos galaxy had been specially processed. Therefore, even if Duan Lingtian's speed was extremely fast, they were still able to see the ray of light that soared through the sky in a flash through the projection. How fast? This cultivator must be a bodiless celestial, right? Seeing the scene in the projection, many people in the Cos galaxy shuddered in fear. They could not help but reveal looks of horror on their faces. Their expressions changed again, as though they had just seen a ghost. In the projection, the purple rainbow transformed by the male cultivator was like a meteorite in space, smashing a huge hole in the disaster-level battleship. Bang! When they saw a hole appear in the disaster-level battleship, a loud bang was heard by everyone in the Cos galaxy. They were so shocked that their hearts seemed to stop beating at that moment. Heavens! What did I just see? The disaster-level battleship is destroyed just like that. Even a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial wouldn't be able to destroy the defense of the disaster-level battleship so easily, right? That cultivator, is he stronger than a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial? Many people in the Cos galaxy could not help but speculate. In the next moment, their jaws dropped as they stared blankly at the scene in the projection. This, isn't this too much? Heavens! This is a disaster-level battleship. I am not dreaming, right? In the projection, the purple streak of light pierced through the disaster-level battleship. In the next moment, the disaster-level battleship was blasted into pieces by an extremely powerful force, leaving behind a huge mushroom cloud. The mushroom cloud left behind by the explosion caused the void to tremble. There were even visible cracks in the void. However, as these void cracks appeared in the dark space, the people from the Cos galaxy did not notice them at the moment. Even then, the destruction of the disaster-level battleship sent chills down their spines. The disaster-level battleship was blown to pieces by an extremely powerful force. Then, a huge mushroom cloud appeared, and a vast and majestic shock wave swept out in all directions. Whoosh! 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 The powerful shock wave swept out and slammed into the other 17 disaster-level battleships, causing them to sway violently. It seemed as though they would crash at any moment. That's He. Is he even human? At the same time, the people in the Cos galaxy who were watching the projection saw an unforgettable scene. When the disaster-level battleship was blasted into pieces, a purple-clad young man walked out of the mushroom cloud at a leisurely pace. He appeared in front of the people in the Cos galaxy, causing them to stare at him with their mouths agape. Rays of light could be seen flashing around the purple-clad young man's body. When the projection zoomed in, one could see that the rays of light were condensed and dazzling. They were like protective talismans that circled around the purple-clad young man. At this moment, the purple-clad young man looked like a god of war. His image was deeply engraved in the minds of the people in the Cos galaxy. That's the patriarch of the Garnier family doll? After a while, the people in the Cos galaxy, who were the first to regain their senses, realized something. In the projection, the purple-robed young man, who had walked out of the explosion of the disaster-level battleship unscathed, was carrying a wretched figure in his hand. Upon closer inspection, one could see the figure was none other than the patriarch of the Garnier family doll. You, who are you? Under the watchful eyes of the people in the Cos galaxy, Doll looked at Duan Lingtian with a ghastly expression on his face as he asked. A hint of fear could be seen in the depths of Doll's eyes. He would never forget what had just happened. Not only did the purple-clad young man charge into the disaster-level battleship of the Garnier family in just a blink of an eye, but the purple-clad young man had also locked onto and captured him. In the next moment, a light shield formed from tens of thousands of sword rays appeared around the purple-clad young man's body. It swept out in all directions and blasted the disaster-level battleship that the Garnier family relied on to survive into smithereens. He believed that if he was not standing next to the purple-clad young man, he would have been blasted into smithereens by the force. Chapter 25-21. You're the patriarch of the Garnier clan? Duan Lingtian glanced at Dar, who was holding the patriarch of the Garnier clan in his hand, as though he was holding a piece of trash, and said calmly, "You can continue to give out orders now. I'd like to see the power of these disaster-level battleships as well." When Duan Lingtian reached the end of his sentence, he raised his head slightly and looked at the remaining 17 disaster-level battleships. Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, not only did Dar's expression turn unsightly, but the high-ranking officials of the Garnier clan, who heard Duan Lingtian's words, had an equally unsightly expression on their faces. Who can tell me, who is this cultivator? This cultivator is definitely a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial. It's impossible for a 3-tribulation bodiless celestial to be unharmed from the explosion. How did our Garnier clan offend such a terrifying person? After all, there are only a handful of 4-tribulation bodiless celestials in the dozens of galaxies around the Castel galaxy. The Garnier clan has records of all the 4-tribulation bodiless celestials in the dozens of galaxies around the Castel galaxy. However, there's no record of this person. If this person is a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial, it's impossible for the Garnier clan to make an enemy out of him, let alone send out a disaster-level battleship to kill him. At this moment, the high-ranking officials of the Garnier clan realized they had met their match. The purple-clad young man, who looked like a god of war in the projection, was at least a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial. Even if he's only a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial, he should be able to escape unscathed from the 17 disaster-level battleships of the Garnier clan. It's impossible for us to kill him. If he's a 5 tribulation bodiless celestial, the 17 disaster-level battleships would only be able to injure him lightly. He could even destroy the 17 disaster-level battleships of the Garnier clan, even if he's injured. The Garnier clan can't afford to offend this person. Apart from Dar, who was captured by Duan Lingtian, the high-ranking officials of the Garnier clan quickly called for an emergency meeting. In the end, they reached a consensus. This purple-clothed young man was not someone to be trifled with. If our Garnier family survives this calamity, I'll retire and no longer interfere with the family's affairs. After the emergency meeting, the first elder of the Garnier family said solemnly. After all, he was the one who suggested to kill the 2 cultivators with great fanfare back then. He had to take a lot of responsibility. Clan leader, the result of the emergency meeting is that this purple-clad young man is at least a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial. He might even be stronger than that. Get his forgiveness at all costs. Soon after, the chip receiver planted in Dal, the patriarch of the Garnier family, received the message from the Garnier family. He's at least a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial? After receiving the message, Dar's heart trembled. Naturally, he knew what this meant. 4 tribulation bodiless celestials might not be a match for the 17 disaster-level battleships of the Garnier clan, but they would definitely be able to escape unscathed. If such a person managed to escape unscathed, it would be a disaster for the Garnier clan. As for 4 tribulation bodiless celestials, and even a 5 tribulation bodiless celestial, they could easily destroy the 17 disaster-level battleships of the Garnier clan, even if they were only slightly injured. For this reason, regardless of whether the purple-clad young man was a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial or stronger, the Garnier clan could not afford to offend him. Sir, I admit defeat. The Garnier clan will admit defeat. Dar took a deep breath and lowered his proud head as the patriarch of Garnier family. Admit defeat. Upon hearing Dar's words, Duan Lingtian frowned slightly. Based on your words, you don't intend to order the 17 disaster-level battleships to attack me? I wouldn't dare. Dar lowered his head even more. His expression was one of uneasiness. Now, when he thought about what he had just done, there was only regret in his heart. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Therefore, he could only minimize the loss of the Garnier clan. For this reason, he was willing to be humiliated in front of everyone in the Cos Galaxy. What's going on? The patriarch of the Garnier clan has admitted defeat? Meanwhile, the people in the Cos Galaxy who were watching the live broadcast were shocked. What a joke! That was the Garnier clan. As one of the 3 strongest forces in the Cos Galaxy, the Garnier clan could do whatever they wanted in the Cos Galaxy. Moreover, in the dozens of galaxies around the Cos Galaxy, there was not a single force that dared to offend the Garnier clan. However, the patriarch of the Garnier clan had actually admitted defeat to a cultivator. The patriarch of the Garnier clan has admitted defeat to the Garnier clan as well. It seems like the Garnier clan is unwilling to offend this purple-clad young man. It's normal. Didn't you see the strength the purple-clad young man displayed earlier? It's impossible for a 3 tribulation bodiless celestial to possess such strength. Only a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial, or above, would possess such strength. Does this mean the purple-clad young man's cultivation base is at least a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial or above? If that's the case, then everything makes sense. The Garnier clan doesn't dare to act recklessly in front of a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial or above. The people in the Cos Galaxy knew what it meant to be a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial or above. A 4 tribulation bodiless celestial was not someone a disaster-level battleship could kill. Moreover, they were even stronger than a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial. When the people in the Cos Galaxy thought the Garnier clan's actions were embarrassing, they did not laugh at them. After all, they knew even if they were the patriarch of the Garnier clan, they would still do the same. The Garnier clan has bitten off more than they can chew this time. I hope this powerhouse will annihilate the Garnier clan in a fit of rage. In that case, we'll have one less opponent. The other two families in the Cos galaxy that were as famous as the Garnier family hoped that the purple-clothed male cultivator in the projection would destroy the Garnier family in a fit of rage. I'll give you a chance. Order the 17 disaster-level battleships to open fire on me. Duan Ling Tian glanced at Dar, who had his head lowered, and said, I'll give you 5 breaths. If you don't order them to open fire after 5 breaths, not only will I kill you, but I'll annihilate the Garnier family as well. You only have 4 breaths left. As soon as Dar heard Duan Ling Tian's voice, his expression changed drastically. At the same time, Duan Ling Tian's voice was projected into the ears of everyone in the Castel galaxy. Madman! Madman! Even if he's a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial, he should be severely injured, if not killed by 17 disaster-level battleships, right? I don't think he's a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial. He might be even stronger than a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial. Otherwise, how could he be so confident that the Garnier clan would order the 17 disaster-level battleships to open fire on him? You have a point. Does this mean he's a 5-tribulation bodiless celestial? The people in the Cos galaxy were stunned by Duan Ling Tian's words. Soon after, they broke out in discussion again. Similar discussions could be heard in every corner of the Cos galaxy. What's he trying to do? What's he trying to do? Is he trying to torture himself? The members of the Garnier clan were flustered. They could not figure out why Duan Ling Tian would do such a thing. This cultivator is very confident. It seems like he's not just a 4-tribulation bodiless celestial. I hope this cultivator will be able to destroy the 17 disaster-level battleships of the Garnier clan in one go. At that time, the Garnier clan will no longer be one of the 3 strongest clans in the Cos galaxy. There will only be 2 strongest clans in the Cos galaxy. The other 2 clans in the Cos galaxy who were as famous as the Garnier clan were gloating over Duan Ling Tian's misfortune. Sir! Dar looked at Duan Ling Tian, as though he wanted to say something. You only have 1 breath left. Duan Ling Tian's tone suddenly turned cold, making Dar feel as though he had fallen into an ice cellar. In the next instant, he no longer dared to hesitate. He quickly ordered the 17 disaster-level battleships of the Garnier clan to open fire on Duan Ling Tian. At this moment, he no longer cared that he was being carried by Duan Ling Tian. It was as though he did not realize that the Garnier clan was in a dire situation. Once the 17 disaster-level battleships opened fire, he would be completely exposed to the attacks of the disaster-level battleships. Open fire! Open fire! Almost at the same time as Dar gave the order, the 17 disaster-level battleships also received the order. Moreover, the order was immediately transmitted to the people operating the disaster-level battleships, causing them to take action immediately. After a few moments, boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. Chapter 25-22. In just a blink of an eye, the people in the Cos galaxy could see Duan Ling Tian and Dar, the patriarch of the Cos clan, being bombarded by laser cannons, electromagnetic cannons, supernuclear bombs, and other large-scale weapons. Boom, 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 boom. Deafening explosions reverberated in the air. Even though the energy from outer space collided with each other, the shockwave from the collision tore through the sky and swept toward planet Satel, the mother planet of the Cos galaxy. Boom, boom, rumble. At this moment, the entire planet Satel shook violently from the impact of the 17 disaster-level battleships. As planet Satel shook, all the buildings on planet Satel collapsed as well. They could not withstand the impact of the shockwave from outer space. Fortunately, the tremors were gradually increasing. Otherwise, who knew how many people on planet Satel would have died from this violent earthquake? Because the tremors were gradually increasing, the people on planet Satel had enough time to use all kinds of aircraft to lift themselves into the air, successfully avoiding the violent earthquake that occurred on planet Satel. How terrifying! Is this the power of 17 disaster-level battleships? Under the bombardment of this level of cannon fire, can that cultivator, who seems to be very confident, survive? Is a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial really able to survive after being hit by such a powerful cannon? While everyone on planet Satel was busy leaving the surface of planet Satel and running for their lives, everyone in the Kos galaxy looked at the continuously rising giant mushroom cloud in the projection. Their hearts couldn't help but tremble. Bang, 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 boom, 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 boom. The bombardment from the 17 disaster-level battleships continued for about 15 minutes before it gradually stopped. At this moment, the space that was initially engulfed by thunderous explosions gradually regained its calm. At this moment, the mushroom cloud that had been rising up continuously also began to shrink. That cultivator, is he still alive? Now, everyone in the Kos star system, including the people on the surface of planet Saturn, was staring at the shrinking mushroom cloud in the projection. They were curious if the purple-clothed male cultivator was still alive. Even if he's still alive, he must be severely injured, right? With such a powerful attack, he must be injured. I think so too. Throughout the Kos star system before the projection, most people thought so. Just as everyone in the Kos galaxy saw the mushroom cloud in the projection getting smaller and smaller, and it was about to disappear, a voice suddenly rang out. Disaster-level battleship. At this moment, a voice that was extremely familiar to them rang out in a leisurely manner. This voice sounded very languid. It did not sound like the voice of an injured person at all. That's all. At the same time, the voice sounded again, continuing the previous sentence. Disaster-level battleship. That's all. The sound came from within the mushroom cloud that was about to disappear. This? How's this possible? He's not injured at all. Even the robes on his body are intact. Not only is his robe intact, there's not a single wrinkle on it. Even the patriarch of the Garnier family, Dar, who's in his hand, is unharmed. Did they really get hit by the 17 disaster-level battleship's cannons? Heavens! I'm not dreaming, right? Through the projection, everyone in the Kos star system saw an unforgettable scene. The purple-robed young cultivator walked out of the place where the 17 disaster-level battleships had been bombarded for 15 minutes, completely unscathed. Moreover, that was not all. Even the patriarch of the Garnier family who was in his hand was unscathed. 6 tribulation bodiless celestial. He's at least a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial. When Duan Ling Tian lifted Dal, the patriarch of the Garnier family, out of the mushroom cloud with a relaxed expression on his face, Dal, who was in a daze, suddenly regained his senses. He could not help but exclaim in shock, "Brother Ling Tian, you're really strong. A 6 tribulation bodiless celestial?" The moment Dar's words left his mouth, everyone in the Kos galaxy was speechless. It was as though someone had grabbed their throats. 6 tribulation bodiless celestial. Why would a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial appear in the Kos galaxy? Why would a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial come to the Kos galaxy? The strongest cultivator in the dozens of galaxies around the Kos galaxy is only a 4 tribulation bodiless celestial. This purple-clad young cultivator is a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial? Did Dar, the patriarch of the Kos clan, make a mistake? There's no mistake. Even a 5 tribulation bodiless celestial would be injured by the cannons of the 17 disaster-level battleships. However, this purple-clad young cultivator is completely unharmed. Even his robe isn't damaged at all. He's at least a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial. In the Kos galaxy, the first to react were the interstellar merchants who frequented the galaxies around the Kos galaxy. They were knowledgeable, so it was easy for them to determine Duan Lingtian's strength was at least a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial. Naturally, this was also due to the 17 disaster-level battleships. Otherwise, no matter how knowledgeable they were, they would not be able to determine if a person was a 6 tribulation bodiless celestial based on his appearance, figure, and temperament. Since you've cooperated, I'll only kill you from the Garnier family. Before the people from the Kos galaxy could regain their senses, Duan Ling Tian said as he glanced at the clan leader of the Kos clan doll, who was in his hand. At the instant Dar's expression changed drastically. Duan Ling Tian's hand shook as he tossed Dar into the air. Bang! With just a casual slap, he killed Dar, who was not even a cultivator. Patriarch! The members of the Kos clan cried out in grief when they saw Dar being killed through the projection. Let's go. After killing Dar, Duan Ling Tian flew toward Tang Xiaoxiao, who had been watching from afar. After greeting her, he brought her along with him as he stepped on the sword formation and left. Since Duan Ling Tian was traveling at full speed with Tang Xiaoxiao, it was as though they had disappeared into thin air. Although the projection had been specially processed, it still could not capture Duan Ling Tian and Tang Xiaoxiao's figures when they left. Only the 17 disaster-level battleships hovered motionlessly in space. It was as though there were 17 gigantic mountains hovering in space. How's this possible? Even the projection can't capture his figure. Even a 6th tribulation bodiless celestial would be able to capture his figure through the projection. However, the purple-clad young man and the female cultivator didn't even leave a trace in the projection. The interstellar merchants in the Kos galaxy were dumbfounded. After regaining their senses after a long while, the same thought popped up in their minds at the same time. A 7 tribulation bodiless celestial. That purple-clad young man must be a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial. Only a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial would be able to escape from the projection. The Cursed clan should be thankful that this 7 tribulation bodiless celestial isn't someone who kills indiscriminately. Otherwise, if he was enraged, let alone the Cursed clan, the entire Cursed galaxy would be annihilated. A 7 tribulation bodiless celestial would be able to kill all of us before we could escape. The group of interstellar merchants could not help but feel relieved when they realized Duan Ling Tian was a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial. They were relieved that Duan Ling Tian was not a bloodthirsty person. 7 tribulation bodiless celestial? That purple-clad young man must be a 7 tribulation bodiless celestial at least. Soon after, the speculations of the interstellar merchants spread throughout the Kos galaxy, causing everyone in the Kos galaxy to shudder in fear. As for the members of the Garnier clan, most of them were so frightened that they fell to the ground, unable to get up. I deserve to die, I deserve to die. I almost caused the clan to be doomed. The Grand Elder of the Garnier clan kneeled on the ground and took out a laser gun. He pulled the safety pin and fired the gun to atone for his mistake. Over the next few days, the Kos galaxy gradually regained its peace. However, the scene that day was unforgettable for the people in the Kos galaxy. The godlike purple-clad young man's figure was deeply engraved in their minds. Naturally, Duan Ling Tian was unaware of this. It would take Duan Ling Tian 3 months to travel from the Kos galaxy to the galaxy where planet Yanhuang was located, even if he brought Tang Xiaoxiao with him at full speed. During these 3 months, Duan Ling Tian learned a lot about the galaxies ruled by technology from Tang Xiaoxiao. The disaster-level battleship isn't the most powerful weapon in a galaxy ruled by technology? That Kos star system is just a star system ruled by ordinary technology? There's an apocalypse-level battleship above the disaster-level battleship? That's the most powerful weapon in Yanhuang realm? After learning about this from Tang Xiaoxiao, Duan Ling Tian could not help but ask. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.